A wee bit. No, we're good.
We're white looking.
A wee bit white looking.
Yeah. Look at like.
I'm gonna. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say.
Can you not? I thought it's.
Are
like,
we allowed to say?
Yeah, it's like the M word.
Right.
We're allowed to say.
Oh, right, okay. But you can't say the N word.
No.
Oh, not even this day and age. Especially this day and
The
age.
N word.
Yeah. No.
We're in a stage of humanity, Chris, where it's ultra sensitive. So it used to be bad to say the N word, but now it's really bad. Now whenever people say it, it's like that's even worse than whenever the fucking racist said it.
No.
Well, fuck, that's toasty.
That's like we're sitting in an oven. So we're sitting in an oven here, and this is us Arctic to oven. Oh, people at home are like, "Is my laptop broke?" Yes, it is.
Do not adjust your television sets. What you're about to see is completely intentional. That shadow there, that's me.
Yeah.
How? Oh, from this window. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I can get blackout blinds if you want.
So I can do some shadow. I don't know how to do any of these.
That's a good one there. Yeah.
It's interesting that you're going to see my hand doing it, but you're also going to see, hopefully, a little. How do you do that thing?
My hand looks huge.
That's forced perspective, Chris.
Is that what that is? My hand looks giant.
That's what they did in the Lord of the Rings. Learning something today, folks.
I think they also used can we say or is it I just said both now.
That's the worst one.
Is it? Yeah.
That's the one you're not allowed to say.
I'm so confused.
What? Probably
Imps?
not.
Because I don't know what I keep in until I get editing. I'm like, oh, that's good. That's good. We were on form there.
Do not put imps.
But that's the best intro we have.
N-word or in there.
Oh God, no, we can't do that.
Any of that.
We can't.
Apparently not. I don't know.
That sounds like the most correct. What can we say in this day and age?
We can't say any of it, Chris.
God. Yeah. Anyway, getting back, I think they used smaller people from behind with wigs on for a lot of the scenes as well.
Yeah.
Jesus, what a roundabout way to tell my story. Fuck me.
Smaller people is very offensive as well.
Like, oh, come on. I don't even know anymore. Okay. Do you want to go? Do you want to just get into this one?
Do you want to go, bro?
Because there's a couple of good conversations flowing here, so why don't we keep the juices?
Yeah. Ooh, Dolce juices.
Yeah, I know. It's such a bad way to put two fellas sitting down to have a podcast. Let's keep the juices flowing.
All right, fellas, let's get the juices flowing.
Cut. We can't do this.
Sakes.
Jesus.
That was just inappropriate, Chris.
It's so inappropriate. Less inappropriate than dwarfism, but anyway. That's neither here nor there. I don't know why. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Empty Promise podcast. My name is Chris, and thank you for joining me and my best friend, James C. Downey,
Yo.
on what is episode 78 of the podcast.
The Empty Promise podcast.
The Empty Promise podcast. I nearly said XI Gaming podcast.
I was in the car on the way up.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, this is 78. Episode 7 of the XI Gaming podcast. And I was like,
We're so old.
we haven't been the XI Gaming podcast in like 30 episodes.
Is it not 50?
50 So we've been Empty Promise longer than we've ever been.
Yeah,
XI
100%.
Gaming.
Yeah.
There you go.
Much longer. Yeah.
Oh.
We can back
There
it.
you have it, folks. Welcome to the It's Obvious Gaming podcast. Fuck's sakes. We'll get it right someday.
Someday we'll get this. We're so bad at this.
Yeah.
At least what you get next is pure gold.
We filter all the shit out at the start. From then on, it's just quality.
We filter that heat out. It's so lovely and toasty up here.
It is actually.
It
was too warm when we came up initially, but now it's quite nice.
Yeah, we've adjusted.
Yeah.
Acclimatized.
Nice.
Is it? Yeah, it's acclimatized.
Weirdest thing ever, Chris.
Right. Go.
The other day I was on Reddit, right? Shortly after our most recent podcast, and there is on the front page of Reddit, which I very rarely even browse, is a featured picture from a subreddit called Thalassophobia. Thalassophobia.
No way.
Thalassophobia, yeah. That's of being
so
like
weird.
in a massive body of water.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it.
So weird.
Never encountered that word before in my life. The most recent podcast,
Yeah.
Chris filled me in on it, and now
it's
I've
coming
seen
up
it
everywhere.
come to this stuff.
Did you read the article or read whatever it was?
It was just a picture of like a person in this massive like body of water, and it was like that perfectly reflects my understanding of that word.
Yeah. That's all you need to know.
That's all. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, if you haven't caught that podcast,
Thalassophobia.
there was so many big words just thrown about. It was so good.
Everywhere.
Whenever I was editing the podcast, I listened back and it was just so. I was like, who even are we?
Did you just feel your IQ going up?
Up and up and up. You know, I'm ready for a MacArthur Grant. There's so much going on in my life right now. I might write a book. So much is happening. But first, we got to do the podcast.
Yeah.
It is the 26th of May, 2019, which means I have a list. Because that's why I have a list. Oh, I always do this. Let me see. Oh, I'm well off of my dates here. It's actually the 26th of May. All right, here we go. 1966 English actress Helena Bonham Carter is born.
1966?
Yeah. What age does that make her?
That would make her
66, 70, 80, 90.
54? 53.
53. Jesus. Oh, yeah, no, that's about right.
Helena.
And she is married to film director Tim Burton.
Mm-hmm. Are they actually married, though?
They're probably in some kind of weird open relationship.
Yeah, they had that thing where they like are married but they don't live together.
Oh,
you know,
that makes sense.
Because Hollywood.
But here is a greengrocer's dozen of films with fruit in the title, not the word fruit, but a named fruit, and not that.
How does that relate to Helena Bonham Carter? How does it relate to anything?
I don't know.
How does it relate to May?
I don't know.
That's your list.
It's gone. Yeah.
Bring it in.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That's a film.
Yep. Often mistake for vegetables, tomatoes, killer or otherwise, are fruit.
Correct.
Fried green tomatoes or tomatoes, depending where.
He's really doubling down on tomatoes.
Yeah, he really is big time. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Do you ever hear that film?
That's Leo DiCaprio. No, possibly.
It could be. I don't know.
I think it is.
Wow, what a shout!
It is.
The Lemon Drop Kid, The Grapes of Wrath, Journey to Banana Land.
That sounds fun.
That is a corporate film made in 1959 by United Fruit.
Sounds like a whirlwind adventure.
A Clockwork Orange, The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, Top Banana. This film was originally shot in 3D but released as ordinary 2D flat film.
Good to know.
The Quince Tree Son, aka El Son de Membrillo, Herbie Goes Bananas, The Lemon Sisters, and James and the Giant Peach. There we go. That was a hard list to get. Could you think
of one film that has a fruit in it, like just without any, not any of those?
Is Bananarama? They're just a group, aren't they?
That's
or
a band,
song or some shit.
That's a band.
Yeah, no. Could you?
No, I could not.
Let me see another quick list for you, Dave.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Meatballs are a fruit.
Did you keep it? Here are 10 types of tiger, which aren't tigers.
Right.
This guy loves this kind of shit in these lists. Tiger moth, a type of moth which is extremely brightly colored and has an extremely unpleasant tasting body fluids.
I got one.
Yeah.
Tiger shark.
Yep, tiger shark.
Tiger bread.
One of the most common, one of the most common and most dangerous, as far as people are concerned, of the bigger sharks, now endangered. Tiger prawns. Tiger prawns are a thing. Tamil tigers, which were a Sri Lankan rebel group. Tiger lily.
Tiger beer.
Tiger beer. Oh yeah,
do we have a tiger here? No, we have T-Sing.
Oh, I thought we had tiger beer here. Paper tiger. Someone who seems brave and powerful but is actually weak and ineffectual.
I like that.
Wow. And tiger moth, a biplane used during the Second World War for the majority of the elementary training of RAF pilots.
Tiger Bay.
What's
Tiger Bay in Belfast. That's where Car from is from.
Oh, I was thinking Bay of Pigs.
T-Bay. Don't ask.
All right. Or Bay of Pigs is Fidel Castro, that whole Cuba. Yeah. I always remember that from Black Ops.
CIA.
Yeah, CIA. Bay of Pigs. I actually have some news relating to
fruits or tigers?
Tiger sharks.
Oh, do you?
And not so much tiger sharks, but sharks.
Okay.
And maybe a tiger shark, because I haven't fully read the news. No, I have some news. A man has died in Hawaii after being attacked by a shark. There you go. Local officials have said the first such fatality in the state in 4 years. The victim, a 75-year-old from California, is believed to have been swimming in clear, flat conditions about 60 yards from the shore on the west coast of Maui on Saturday morning when the attack happened.
Your phone has just collapsed.
It has. The man, whose name has not been released, died at the scene. Shark warning signs have been in place in the Kainapali Beach Park area where the attack happened and remain in place until at least midday Sunday. In like 2015, a snorkeler, Margaret Cruz, was killed by a shark off Maui after being separated from friends.
Shark attacks just seem like something that exists only in films.
Yep.
To me.
Yep. Well, it's funny. It's not funny, but
it's hilarious.
I have 6 of the most infamous shark attacks in history. I did some research on this then afterwards.
Okay.
I was a bit intrigued by the whole situation. This is the first one here is absolutely ridiculous. Have you ever heard of a guy called Mick Fanning? Fanning, yeah. I think he's a surfer. He is a surfer. Okay. But the entire world allegedly heard about Mick Fanning's shark attack during the finals of the J Bay event, which was being broadcast live to the whole world. A lively great white with absolutely no idea of the shitstorm he was about to create decided to have a quick look at 3-time world champ Mick. Of course, he acted like a total badass and just started to beat the shit out of the shark in the water.
Why?
While Julian Wilson paddled his ass off towards the shark and a lone photographer was left floating around in the lineup with the shark. The internet quickly exploded. CNN interviewed Fanning. Julian was hailed as a hero. Fights broke out about whether it was attack or an encounter. It was definitely attack, by the way, at least technically.
Are these like animal rights activists saying that he attacked the shark? He
attacked the shark, and there will honestly never be a better story than that. Bethany Hamilton inspired millions of people. Hers has come back from the ages. 14-foot tiger shark attacked her at 7 a.m. while surfing or swimming. I'm not entirely sure. Severed her left arm completely. Ugh. And then she came back to win. Yeah.
What?
Came back to become a champion surfer.
That's amazing.
With one arm. Yeah, there's a picture over there. Rodney Fox. You may have heard of Rodney Fox only because his attack happened well before the internet came into existence in 1963. Rodney Fox was thought of as one of the best spear fishermen in the world. That same year during the Australian Spearfishing Championships. That's a thing. Just south of Adelaide, Fox went through one of the worst sharks attack in history. A great white bit him around the waist, puncturing his diaphragm, ripping his lungs, crushing his ribcage, and leaving many of his organs so exposed that when he was finally brought back to the beach, rescuers were forced to keep his wetsuit on to keep his insides inside. Crazy. And
he survived?
Yep. Giant scar, like the whole way around. Madness.
Sharks are super scary. I'm glad that they're localized to the water.
Oh yeah,
and like not Ireland.
No, did you hear the news during the week that there's a fucking giant basking shark off the north coast at the minute, just swimming around Ireland? Apparently the waters are really good for him at the minute.
But basking sharks don't.
They're not like predatorious.
Okay.
Towards us. They're not carnivores.
Yeah. Oh yes.
They're not carnivores. They just eat like fish and shrimp and krill and shit.
Pescatarian.
They're yeah, pescatarian. Yeah, that's perfect. No, wait, do carnivores eat fish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought so.
Meat.
Yeah. It's a type of
meat.
Well,
this guy doesn't eat humans, basically.
Yeah.
But he's just swimming right off in the waters. He became like a hit on Instagram. Everyone was
probably his name. Probably his own Twitter account now.
Probably actually.
This shit always happens.
Yeah. They're big. Basking sharks can grow into to be big things.
Remember killer whales? We talked about those last week, I think.
Did we talk about killer whales?
Yeah, we were just talking about whales in general. They're fucking
yeah.
And thalassophobia. Thalassophobia?
We were talking about whales actually. We're talking about whales living in the deep.
Yeah, what's down there? We don't know.
About shrimp living in the deep and squids living in the deep and all this kind of shit. So much living in the deep.
Just stay away from the water, guys.
100%. Yeah, I know. But sharks are crazy. Sharks are crazy scary. Like,
kind of have to respect them too. Like
100%. I mean, that's their environment that you go into. You know what I mean? That's like if imagine the shark had the audacity to come on land. Do you know what I mean? And
we just like speared it.
Yeah.
Like, you deserve that.
You deserve that.
Came into our turf.
Exactly.
We go into your turf.
Yeah, sure. But that's the thing as well. He's doing no harm. So how would we justify that? Well, sharks eat us because they think we're turtles.
Yeah, we're not doing any harm necessarily. They're just like, oh, that's a tasty meal.
Yeah.
So we're trying to kill a seal. and it's actually a shark.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent.
Seal shark. Is that a thing? I think that's
Probably, yeah.
There's a lot of animals with like double barrel.
Do you know the difference between a seal and a sea lion?
No.
Neither do I.
Do you not?
I think it. No, I don't. But I know there is a difference, and I never consciously made the connection that those are two different animals before in my life.
Do you want to hazard a guess as to what it could be?
I think sea lions are the ones who make the noises, like the barks.
Oh,
like
like that.
Where seals are like more.
Oh yeah, I think
spend more time in water.
I would imagine that sea lions are a lot more ferocious, deadly. Where seals are just like placid kind of creatures, I would imagine.
I really don't know. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Maybe one lives in colder water, one lives in warmer water.
I think one of them has like kind of like more like feet, like they almost have like fingers and toes.
Yeah.
Where seals are just fins.
Oh
flippers.
yeah.
No idea if that's correct. Do not quote me on that. Go fact check it.
I'm gonna have to quote you on it.
I think people just want. I was just astounded. I just never realized that they're not the same thing.
They're not the same. So seals and sea lions. I'll write that down. The seal.
And a sea lion.
Sea lion debate.
And
Debacle.
It rages on, that debate, Chris. To this very day.
I think sea lions are quite vicious, or seals. I don't know what one it is, but there's videos of like seal, whatever one, like grabbing humans and like pulling humans down.
Fuck.
They just get
They're
like
big,
aggressive. Oh yeah, they're
things.
big heavy things. Yeah, 100%. One of them I know lives in like the cold waters because that's what a lot of the killer whales eat up in like Arctic and stuff.
Seal, yeah.
But I don't know what one. Now you've got me confused.
I know,
Again,
That's
just would have
crazy.
assumed it was the same creature. But yeah, sharks attack us a lot in the water. Not us personally, but people, because they think that they're like turtles. They mistake them for turtles and things because they're paddling on boards and stuff.
If they know it's a human, they don't actually pay much attention to us.
No, not really. And they can. I think I read something stupid like they can like smell blood something
From like a couple
miles
of
away. Yeah, like how is that even?
I think that's true. Yeah,
Like that's crazy. That's
insane.
absolutely insane. And they're also really good at like fighting disease and stuff.
Yeah. They almost never.
They're
die
like the crocodiles of the ocean.
Those fucking animals, boy.
Although, what do you call them? Saltwater crocodiles can live in the ocean as well. So that's a scary fucking animal.
That's a film I feel like Hollywood will eventually make. Shark versus alligator.
I'm sure they have. Surely.
Yeah, it'll come.
Let me see. What about NASA have confirmed that a massive fireball meteorite with the power of a nuclear bomb has crash landed off Australia? You seen this? Do you see this now?
How does that happen?
I don't know.
How does it crash and not go off with the power of a meteorite?
The meteorite landed in the Great Australian Bight around 10:30 on Tuesday. People in parts of Victoria and South Australia reported seeing large flashes of bright white light, and data from the Centre for Near-Earth Object Studies in California shows the meteorite landing site as a green-blue dot in their map of marked fireballs picked up by US sensors. The object reached a speed of 44.1 thousand kilometers per hour when it broke the Earth's atmosphere, then burned and broke, with some parts landing about 300 kilometers southwest of Mount Gambier in the Great Australian Bight. When the thing exploded, it exploded at about 1.6 kilotons, which was quite impressive. It's in the range of a small nuclear weapon.
Did it explode like in the air?
Because it exploded at an altitude of 31.5 kilometers, it didn't do any damage.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad that this shit just happens. It's like, remember it happened in Russia that time?
Did it?
Happened in Russia. It was another big one like this.
They cover up everything though, anyways.
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't cover this one up. It was like a massive, like it lit up the sky and all, and it shattered windows and all. It blew up in the atmosphere as well.
Jesus.
But it was the shock wave of it, like broke windows and stuff, like, and set off car alarms and all this stuff. Just mad, like.
That is mad. And like they say that one of those took out dinosaurs.
The one that took out dinosaurs, do you ever like read or watch a video about what actually happened?
No.
I just know. So fucking crazy. It's like this thing landed in, right? So it came into the atmosphere and it was burning up, but like it was so big, obviously it wouldn't all break up.
Yeah.
It landed in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But whenever it impacted with the water, it was so hot that it basically just like in like a mile wide radius just vaporized all of the water.
Oh,
and then
what size was this thing? Is this like planetorial?
Like
size?
A mile or something like that.
Jesus.
It was coming at such speed. And then all this water, which is now steam, like because that reaction happened so fast, that sent a shockwave out. And then there was like a massive there was a rock in it.
Yeah.
And then that hit the ground, that like sent up like soot and ash and stuff. But now all this water had just like disappeared.
Yeah.
So the rest of the water came in to fill that there, and then that's what caused this massive tsunami. And that fucked shit up. There was all this like soot and like fireballs in the air, and then that thing went up and it caused a cloud that covered the entire planet. Like just stupid.
Wow.
Destructive, like.
Wow.
And these things are just shooting past us all the time.
That's crazy. Imagine what the poor dinosaurs were feeling.
That's it.
One day they're just out minding their own dinosaur business.
They had like 30 seconds if they were anywhere near it, and then if they weren't, they were just dead because this shockwave went round.
Jesus.
That just like rattled your fucking.
Whereabouts in the world did it hit? Did you say New Mexico?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Wow. And is there like a crater there?
Apparently something like that. You can see it like it's underwater, but you can see like the remnants of it. Just crazy big.
There's a giant crater in Australia where a meteor hit at some point in the Earth, and it's just like a kilometer or two wide, just this big bowl. And there's no signal, there's no phone. It's just obliterated everything.
There's a place again in Russia because all this shit seems to happen in Russia.
Russia's big.
That's it. It's like it covers so much of the land.
Like it has to happen there.
But there was a meteorite that hit. I think it was like 1902 or something like that, but it was like shockwaves from it were felt in England, like they were felt right around the world. Jesus. It was colossal. It happened at the most remote part, middle of a massive forest, and the trees there still grow like at a slant from the shockwave that like pushed them.
Where's this in?
Somewhere in Russia. It's like 1902 or something like that, maybe 1802.
Wow.
It happened a long time ago, but people were able to report about it in America, in London, all over the world. People knew that had happened.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's some scary shit for you. You got shark attacks, you got fucking meteorites hitting.
I love this.
All this shit going on.
So much going on. Tell me this, now that we're on shockwaves and stuff like this, have you been keeping up or watching the Chernobyl series that's on at the minute?
That's actually a piece of my news. I haven't actually watched any of it yet.
We're record the series just on Sky now. We haven't watched it yet because I feel like it's going to be something I'm going to want to just binge watch and just
the whole time.
Yeah.
It is currently the best rated TV show on IMDb after like 3 episodes.
That's insane.
It's meant to be amazingly good.
I am fascinated with the whole Chernobyl thing. Like it is so cool.
It's such an interesting.
It's because we don't know enough about it, I think.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know enough about what went on and just how scary that whole event was.
There's so many things that never got like widely publicized.
Such as?
Like the people who like got like fucking completely burned by like radiation and like their body was just like there's
mutilated?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like I forget. I don't think it was Chernobyl or some nuclear accident. And this guy just got completely like hit with a bunch of fucking radioactive.
Vaporized basically?
No, he got hit by like a big radioactive like I know surge we'll call it.
Right.
But he was fine. Like he walked away from it, he felt okay, but what had happened is that all of his like DNA had just been completely destroyed. So his cells couldn't replicate. So it was like from that point on, it's just like a ticking time bomb. It's just like you're like as your like muscles feel, they're not gonna come back. As your eyesight feels, as your brain feels, and he just slowly died. And like apparently he was like begging people, just kill me before this gets any worse.
No.
Because the Russians wanted to see
what would happen.
What happens. It kept him alive and all. So grim.
Fuck.
Apparently there's something similar in Chernobyl.
Yeah, fuck.
But
I'm just fascinated. The whole place is just a ghost town. Like it literally went in like the space of a couple of hours from like the civilization for all the workers and their families to just no one. All possessions left behind, all their houses, everything. People were just sitting eating dinner or watching TV or something, just gone.
It's actually mad. Like
that is crazy. God knows, like oh fuck. Have you ever seen the film Chernobyl Diaries?
No.
It's a bit far fetched, but it's still not so far fetched that you couldn't believe it. You know, that kind of way. Like these people go on it's called like an extreme tour. This guy takes them into Chernobyl, like he knows like the officers that guard it, takes them in so that they can look around Chernobyl and walk around, and then they can't get back out of it basically, and there's like fucking like mutated people still living in Chernobyl, which just freaks me out. Like because the radiation of it, I watched a video the other day, and the radiation of it spread like fucking everywhere. It was felt in like the UK.
It's because it blew up like in a what do you call it?
Enclosed kind of.
No, like a, whenever like it's like a skyward explosion.
Yeah.
You know, like nuclear bombs go off in like a big ball, but this went up straight up.
Straight.
That's how it blew, and it went into the air, and then got dispersed all over the place. Then the fallout of it.
Fuck.
I remember reading about Chernobyl. Yeah, completely fucked up. It was just like there were like all these safety precautions that they weren't like adhering to, and then on the day of like a test of the safety precautions they weren't doing, like this thing went wrong that they didn't expect,
And that's what caused it?
and instead of switching it off, they did like sat and monitored it until it exploded because they were just complete. And that's why like there was so little about it, because obviously the USSR wanted to keep it quiet that there was such a big fucking fuck up.
Yeah. They like pretty much played the whole thing down, didn't they? They like said like, oh no, it's fine, and then it wasn't until people started seeing photographs flooding in of what actually happened. The whole reactor was gone.
And apparently there was like 3 people who went down, and like they like opened or closed some valve which allowed like one of the other reactors to cool.
Right.
Had they not done that, it could have blown up as well. They saved like a bunch of lives, but by
Heroes.
going
By doing
down
that,
there,
they were gone.
just killed themselves. Yeah.
Jesus.
Or didn't kill themselves, but sacrificed themselves.
I feel that there's so much potential to make a really good movie about Chernobyl, and no one's done it.
It's because it's such a
Grim kind of topic. Yeah. Like it's not that long ago. Yeah, it's not that long ago.
We're making a TV show, so it's fair game.
Yeah, I know. Did you hear about the missing hiker in Hawaii? There was a missing hiker.
For like 16 days.
Yep. Yeah. Well, she was found. Missing Hawaiian hiker found alive after a 2-week ordeal. A woman who was found alive after 2 weeks of going missing in Hawaii has told of her life or death ordeal. Amanda Eller, who's 35, was last seen on the 8th of May. Family and friends had launched an intense search effort and offered a cash reward for her safe return. Mrs. Eller was found on Friday when she waved down a rescue helicopter. Reports say she got lost and injured while hiking on Maui. Photographs show her dirty and slightly injured but smiling after being rescued. In an emotional video posted to Facebook on Saturday, the yoga instructor described how she endured the toughest days of her life while injured in the Hawaiian wilds. Local reports suggest she had lost weight but survived after foraging on berries and local water sources. She suffered a broken leg, torn meniscus in her knee, sunburns and scrapes. But other than that, she's fine.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, it is.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
She was fine. I think that the police called off their search.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like 12 days or something.
Wow.
They had recently called off the search, but her friends and family were obviously still searching. And that's what found her.
She reportedly got lost after leaving the trail to rest before plunging 20 feet from a cliff, which broke her leg. She's going about a broken leg.
That's it. It's always like
Jesus.
always like a fall or something.
That's got to be like in like 5 years. That's got to be a really good film.
Yeah, you reckon? Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love films like that. Yeah.
Well, this happens like way more often than
Than you think. Yeah, people going missing and shit.
people missing, and like most of the time, this is probably made into a film. Yeah, you're right, because she was found. Most of the time, they're not.
I know.
It's fucking mad.
I know you
Not
get
most of the time, but like a lot.
get films like that and you're watching the whole way and you don't know what's going to happen. And the writing just pops up like such and such was never seen again. The investigation is ongoing and you're like, wow.
In a similar vein to that, did you hear about there is the queues on Mount Everest? You heard of this?
Is this about all the Irish? Yeah, fuck. Yeah, this is terrible.
It's something like 300 people are all trying to like summon Mount Everest in this like same like period of time.
Why though? Is it to do with like the weather or something? No?
This is like one
Like
of
a break in the weather?
seasons.
Right,
so
okay.
They allow people to climb, but apparently like they've given way more permits this year than they normally do.
Right.
So they're all like just trying to get up there at the same time. It's crazy. But yeah, there's been 2 Irish people, Irish men have died.
Perished on
on Everest. One was a professor.
Yep.
Trinity.
Yep.
And the other was just like a father of like 2
Yeah.
or something like that. He's climbed it before and everything, and he just
Such an undertaking though. Like, imagine standing at the tallest point in the world. That is the tallest point in our world, isn't it? Yeah, and they both made it to the summit.
No, I think.
Did they? And then Paris on the way back down, no?
Yeah, the guy, Seamus Lawless. Yeah, I think I have the name. Seamus Lawless. He's the professor at Trinity. He summited the mountain, was making his descent.
Decent.
Wherever he sort of went.
That's where like 90% of the accidents happen coming back down. Yeah, one of them I think just died in his sleep. It was reported.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, just in a tent. He was just found in the tent the next day, just not alive anymore. And the other one, I'm not too sure what happened.
The other one took a fall. One of them definitely took a fall. And it was just like, I think the first guy took a fall, and then Kevin Hines and Seamus Lawless.
Have you seen the film Everest?
No.
I hear it's good.
Do you?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I hear it's good. I should have bought it. I should have bought it.
But here, that brings the total number of people who've died on Everest this season to 10. So
This season?
Yeah, and another one died yesterday from England or from Britain somewhere.
Do you ever see, it's so weird. I've watched like documentaries and stuff and people climbing Everest, and it's like going up and it's like just this total shitstorm of weather and wind and the most freezing Baltic conditions you can imagine, and it's just like no life and all, and then you get to the point above the clouds and it's like it's sunny, but obviously it's fucking freezing.
Yeah.
And there's just like these like bunting all over the place from like the Sherpas and stuff, and it's just so calm and it's just so eerie because like you're literally at the tallest point in the world and it's just flat calm, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck. You can see the curvature of the earth, and it's like, yeah, you just expect it to be, yeah, no, it's just calm. It's really weird.
It's pretty interesting, actually.
So
it's one of those things you'd always like the idea of doing, but like in practice, it's so like fucking like just punishingly difficult.
like it's the oxygen limitations, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People just don't. I don't know. I've never been somewhere of like great altitude that I've experienced, but from what I gather, do you know those people like athletes, especially those doing the Tour de France, they get like this tent and they hook up this thing to a tent that they can sleep in.
Deprived oxygen?
Yeah, so it helps them produce more red blood cells to like take care of the stress against zero oxygen.
That's why canyon runners and stuff are so
Unbelievable. The altitude they train at, yeah, it's crazy.
You wouldn't think of it, they're like so high altitude now.
It's unreal.
That's a similar thing I read about them.
Yeah, Mo Farah used to go out there to do all his training out to like, yeah.
I read a thing about like how in the Andes and the Himalayas, both the people who basically live their entire lives like at altitude in those regions have adapted in different ways. So one group of people, their red blood cells like literally changed so they could carry more oxygen.
Fuck.
And then in the Himalayas, their body changed to produce more red blood cells.
Wow.
So,
so it balances out the same thing, but the two completely separate effects.
It's weird, isn't it?
Wow.
The human body, what it's capable of.
Yeah. Because there's a load of this going about, like in sport now, that like athletes are doing this a lot. And do you ever see those masks they're wearing? And all? It's like
I'm afraid that it's not as
effective as it's made out. I know these tents seem to be, because that's like fucking. I wouldn't want to sleep in a tent with like deprived oxygen. Although I kind of want to know what it feels like. You know?
Now do you like you're suffocating here?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I picture it to be like. Would it be like stuffy? Do you think? Would it feel stuffy? Is that what it feels like?
I have no idea.
I think that's what like suffocation would feel like.
I think suffocation is just like kind of like.
Oh God! Imagine how hard like your body is working. Oh, that's mad. D, do you care about horoscopes?
Do I care?
Yeah, do you care anything about horoscopes?
I mean,
some people care a lot about horoscopes. Some people live by horoscopes.
Yeah, I don't buy into it at all. I
No.
don't care about them.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
fine. If you want to read them, that's fine.
Yeah.
They're fun, but like,
You don't.
I wouldn't base my life on
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's good because apparently the stars have shifted,
Oh dear.
which means our horoscopes have all changed.
Since when?
Since not too long ago, actually. The stars have. Okay, so I don't know how this whole works. I know that it's all to do with like the stars and their alignment and all that. But basically, the stars have been altered by a process called precession, meaning they've shifted position and messed up all our zodiac signs. The horoscope that you've been reading for years is probably all wrong because the star constellations you were born under are not the same as they would have been on your birthday when the zodiac system was developed around 2,500 years ago. Ancient Babylonian astrologers and later the Greeks originally decided zodiac signs by whichever constellation the sun was in on the day you were born. This is because the path of the sun as is perceived from the orbiting earth passes through the constellations that form the zodiac and one other constellation which was actually missed off called Ophiuchus. I'm just going to say Ophiuchus. Let me see. We were originally Taurus. We would have been Taurus. You were Taurus as well, I think. Were you? Oh, were you Gemini? Oh, so I'll just tell you what you are now because this is
Can't
easy.
you tell? But
So I used to be Taurus, and I'm now Aries.
good man.
Aries, yeah.
That's definitely not
Thank you. Oh, I don't know. I like Taurus. Taurus is a fucking bull. You know. So you're now Taurus.
Oh, good.
You're now Taurus, which is May 13th to June 21st. So Capricorn has changed from Capricorn is now the 20th of January to February 16. Aquarius. I'm not going to call all these out, but they've all changed, so you should go and look it up because your star sign is not what it should be. Yeah, it's really fucking important. Ancient astronomers believe that the sun passes through these constellations at different times of the year, so divided them into 12, but also grouped them into categories of the classic elements: fire, water, earth, and fire, water, air, and earth, because they thought these groups determine personality traits.
That's interesting, though. So they believe it's where the sun passes through the constellation, despite the fact you couldn't see the stars when the sun was out.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I wonder how they.
So the element that matches your star sign is said to determine your personality.
Yeah.
So earth signs such as Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo are said to be quiet, grounded, practical, and slow to change emotionally. Okay. Are you slow to change emotionally? I know, like you've lived your whole life under something else, and whereas I am a fire sign now, D. So yeah, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo said to be impulsive, passionate, and spontaneous, which describes me perfectly, D. Water signs, which are Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, are emotional and can swim back and forth between reality and imagination. And air signs, such as Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, are quick, animated, and intellectual beings.
See, I used to be Gemini. I wish I was air type.
The air type? I know. If you could choose one sign, earth, fire, water, or wind, what would it be?
What do you mean a sign? Like
earth, fire, water, air. Like if you could just, they're pretty cool. Like categories to fall under. Like control. I wonder, should I say control the signs or?
So like fire is the obvious one, isn't it? Like you can create fire.
I thought that, but then I thought earth. Imagine being able to like move earth.
Right, this is the thing. This is just weird that this is happening, right? Literally like this week, and it was part of my like after the podcast, like personal with the podcast.
Oh right, wow.
I started watching Avatar. The Last Airbender.
Right. Yeah, I've heard.
Well, basically, it's focused on the idea that the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water, and there's these like.
It's too weird. Yeah.
And it's just so cool. I'm just imagining. I would like to be air because the airbenders are just like cool. They can like fly and they can do shit with air. But then you're like earthbenders. Yeah, they can control
the earth. Yeah, that's cool.
Firebenders can like send fireballs and shit like that.
And water.
Waterbenders can control water and like create waves, attack you water. And I'm just like now imagining that's all I care about. So
I know, yeah.
You should definitely watch it, Chris, if you want to be an earthbender.
I would love to be an earthbender. I think now that I think about it, water might be the better choice because water kind of crushes everything, doesn't it?
Well, you have to be near water, Chris.
Oh, well, that's true.
Air is everywhere.
Air, good point.
Earth is most places, except water.
What about fire? Or do you have to create fire?
I assume you just create fire. Because clouds doesn't work.
True. I had another piece of news. It doesn't seem to be loading now, but Giza pyramids got a bit of news on it about this guy who thinks he discovered something else inside the pyramids, and he wants to drill a hole under the two centrifuge things that are either holding up like one of the chambers, and he wants to put a camera in to see what's actually inside. Okay. And I hope they get permission to do this because we will stay with this story on the podcast if we do.
Is this thing about this tunnel that's too small for people?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be, yeah.
I was reading about this earlier, actually.
So I got caught up in the whole pyramids and
Egypt.
I love Egypt.
You're in the making of becoming an Egyptologist.
I mean, I'm halfway there. Yeah. I just need the qualification now.
I just need all of the actual.
Yeah, I just need. I have all the want. I just. So I got into it and I went to National Geographic and there was an article on 7 ancient sites that people think were built by the aliens. I don't know who the aliens are or what they are referring to. Are they?
I'd like to know which species.
Are they beings? I don't know. But some of this was quite interesting because I forgot about some of these. Let's go first of all to. I'll get some of them. What about the Nazca lines? Did you ever hear of these Nazca lines? Like the big massive lines in
They're like drawings
in
of
Peru.
animals.
Yeah, like they're huge. They're like 200 feet.
Yeah, they're like they're like nearly a mile. Aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, they're massive. Like.
Oh yeah, they are actually. Yeah.
And it's like,
Oh yeah. Okay,
like,
yeah.
You couldn't. They're just drawn into like. I think they're on salt plains, so it's like.
Yeah, they're a kilometer and a half. Jesus
They're
Christ.
like an inch deeper than the rest of the ground.
Yeah.
And you, like, if you fly above, you can see like clearly. Like,
They're in shapes of like monkeys and spiders and stuff. Like who did that? Or how did they do that?
This is it. Like a lot of people don't think that they could have, because they obviously couldn't get up high enough to see.
To see it, yeah. But how did they map it out so perfectly? You know, the Egyptian pyramids that a lot of people think.
Yeah, a lot of people just say.
I should have done pyramids this week. That would have been a good. Yeah. Oh, this is a conspiracy podcast, by the way.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. I should have done pyramids.
See, the thing about the pyramids is like.
But it's a whole other thing on its own.
There's more about it. I think the fact that the Egyptians built the pyramids, I'm okay with that. I think they could have done it.
I hope they did it. You know, I hope just for the fact that they're so grand and they're so perfect.
So we could do that.
Yeah, that. How did they do it though? You know, like the thought of these men pulling these like millions of these like ton blocks and lining them up, not only perfectly with each other but under the stars.
Yeah,
is just so. God, they're smart.
People can be pretty smart. The mystery around like the pyramids for me is like the thing you talked about, where there's these tombs, these chambers that we don't even know where they go, and we don't know
why did they build them.
Why did they build them, and what were they for? And but the one you're talking about, I think, because I read about it today, is there's this chamber that is only like it's super small, it's only like 2 foot, like square.
Yeah.
It's too small like for people to reasonably use.
Yeah.
And it like goes way into like the center of the main
pyramid, the Pyramid of Giza.
And there's a door at the end of it, and they spent ages debating should we open this door or not, and they finally opened the door, and then behind that there's another door.
Jesus Christ. Like, you shouldn't go opening things that have been sealed.
And they're like, what is behind this door? Like, it's too small, people can't use it. They send robots up to do this. I think that's what they're talking about, drilling through this.
Just put a wee spy camera in, have a look about.
People think it was a cat door because they revere cats.
They did actually, yeah. They took them to the afterlife with them and stuff. Stonehenge.
Yeah.
No one knows. Yeah, no one knows why Stonehenge. Oh, sorry. Getting back to the pyramids, just before we go on, I read one thing that the pyramids were built to be used for massive stores of grain.
So are they not like nearly like they're not very hollow? They're nearly.
Yeah, they're nearly solid. So I don't know how much grain you need to store.
Oh, there is a really. This is the other shit I love about ancient Egypt and the pyramids in particular. Did you hear about this like phenomenon? When you like, I heard about this so long. I don't even know if it's true.
Okay, I love this. But
it's like in a pyramid, something about like the formation of a pyramid that like helps you preserve things.
What?
Like you could put like a block of cheese in the middle of like a pyramid box,
right?
And it would like last longer than if you just left it in a regular box.
What?
It's so stupid. I think Harvard history or something.
Wow.
That's how long ago it was.
How does it work?
No idea. But that's the type of shit I love about the pyramids. Of why was it a pyramid and all this sort of crack. So if they were going to preserve grain, Chris, maybe that would work.
Maybe. I wrote down pyramid preserves. I'm going to look that up. Stonehenge, huge circles of stone, some weighing as much as 50 tons, sits in the English countryside outside Salisbury. Neolithic monument inspired I'm not even going to read that. No one knows exactly what the meaning of Stonehenge is, but as with all other sites in its collection, the explanation is not aliens. Instead, scientists have demonstrated it's actually possible to build such a thing using technologies that would have been around 5,000 years ago.
There's actually a really cool video you can watch of a dude who basically replicates Stonehenge by himself, using just basically what he does is he just starts with like a massive lump of stone, and like he digs under to get like one board of wood underneath it, right? And then that's like his pivot point in the middle.
Wow.
And then he weighs it down with a bunch of more wood on one side, and then the side that's lifted up, he puts a bit of wood, and then he switches it, and he puts a bit of wood the other side, and he keeps
going until it lifts.
Until he gets like a point where he can like
holy shit,
dig a hole underneath it so it just slips in. This dude just dedicated like years of his life to do it.
Wow.
It's on YouTube, go look it up.
But why? I mean, why did it need Stonehenge? Some people thought it was like a landing pad for aliens. Yeah. I don't know.
Minecraft is the answer
fuck, I love Minecraft.
Think about all the random shit you build in Minecraft.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot easier than what it was back then. But
Yeah.
like, sometimes you just build shit.
Yeah, true. Sometimes you just build shit. Yeah, maybe the Egyptians were just like, what are we going to do with all this sand?
Yeah.
Let's build shit. Yeah.
We've got a big city here.
I
We're
know.
going to put something up and show we're the best.
Could have been just the biggest sandcastle building competition that we've ever heard of. And it escalated fast, you know?
It's like, they got these bigger ones over in fucking, I don't know. So what's another place in Egypt?
Cairo.
That's where they are. Easily beside Cairo.
Let's say Alexandria.
Alexandria.
Yeah. We're gonna build it. Yeah, and they have like pyramids in Peru and stuff, like the Inca pyramids, like those like step ones. But they're a lot more like, okay, I can see how people built that. It looks a lot like more childlike, you know.
It's like, yeah, you just build a step.
Step, yeah. I built that in Minecraft as well. Look fucking great. Did you ever hear of Teotihuacan? It's meaning the city of the gods. Is a sprawling ancient city in Mexico that's best known for its pyramidal temples and astronomical alignments. Built more than 2,000 years ago, Teotihuacan's age, size, and complexity can make it seem otherworldly, but it is the work of humans. It's suspect that there's a mix of cultures, including Maya, Zapotec, and Mixtec, built the city that could house more than 100,000 people with its murals, tools, transportation systems, and evidence of advanced agricultural practices. Teotihuacan is often considered much more technological developed than it should have been possible in pre-Aztec Mexico. It's crazy. It was in Tomb Raider twice, I think, and it was great.
There you go.
Yeah, that's how I know it from. What about Easter Island? What the fuck's the deal with those heads? Like, that they creep me out. Is there more to them, or is it just a head?
Yeah, is it like a full
It's statue and it's just been buried, and they're everywhere. It's like a big. It's like the Lost. It's like the barriers in Lost.
Oh
Yeah.
Like loads of
Yeah. But it's just like heads all around the island. Like what are they for? Crazy.
What were people like thinking back then?
Yeah.
What were they up to?
I heard it was something to do with like they made people sick, or people got sick when they first landed at Easter Island.
Really?
And they assumed like these were
Cursed.
heads. Yeah, I remember reading that ages ago. That could have been horrible history as well. The face on Mars. You ever see the face on Mars? Yeah. But Elon Musk will sort that out for us.
He'll get over it. He'll crush that.
So there's some things that people believe aliens did.
Possibly.
Crazy, lad. Crazy. So much stuff. Have you got any actual news or real news?
I had news. I just had about those the unfortunate people who died on Everest. I have some weird stuff here for you, Chris.
We all love weird shit.
I'll start with like a fun one. Not for this person, not fun, but in general.
Okay.
Kind of funny. Have you ever heard of Naomi Wolf?
No.
Naomi Wolf
Maybe.
is this like American. I think she was like a politician or something. She wrote this book anyway. Book. She wrote a book about gay men getting prosecuted in like Victorian England, like back in the day, whenever it was.
Okay.
Did you ever hear about Alan Turing, the guy who wrote the Enigma machine?
No.
He was convicted of being like committing sins against nature because he was like gay.
Okay.
And he was caught doing like something he shouldn't have been doing, and basically he got like chemically castrated and all. Like he got like treated really shittily.
When was this?
This is World War II, World War One, II.
Jesus.
He wrote the machine that cracked the Enigma code that helped them win the war, and he got treated like complete shit, and he got like
Because he was gay?
pretty much shit. But anyway, she wrote this book kind of analysing like men who got executed back in Victorian England because of their sexuality. But on a radio show for BBC, and she was talking about this book, she was kind of talking about all these cases where she had dug up when this all happened, and the radio host basically shit all over her and her book.
No way.
By informing her that on the court documents that she had like obtained for all these different cases,
Yeah.
it had said, guilty of the sins against nature, blah blah blah, death recorded. And she had noted all these down. She'd like collected them and said these 20 men were executed for their
crimes.
And BBC freedom presenter was able to tell her the date that one of the men who was death recorded, that he was released from prison.
What?
And it turns out death recorded was a category that was created to like, what do you call it, like pardon people from the death sentence for, they're too young or kind of like the death sentence seemed too harsh.
So it was just death recorded?
It was just actual.
So what, did they just serve time then?
Pretty much.
Wow.
So her entire book got just like
just shit on.
In like that.
Oh my god.
All these death recorded cases and none of them had actually been executed.
Oh my god. When was this? When this happened?
This was recently, like a week ago.
Shit.
And she said, and to be fair to her, she took it pretty well. She was like, oh, well, I wonder what exactly that means and I'll have to investigate and stuff. And she came out later and said she's going to basically revise her book. Jesus,
that's a big revision. Although this could do well for her book because people might pick it up now to see, how much she effed up by, basically.
Part of me wants it to be like, you didn't do your research here and you fucked up, but part of me is like,
she still wrote a book, so I'm kind of hoping she has some.
Death recorded, like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you would naturally assume, like, Jesus.
You don't read that as anything else.
No, the person's dead.
Pretty much.
Jesus.
But that happened. The poor girl.
What's her name? Naomi Wolf.
Naomi Wolf. Yeah.
Wow.
American.
Never send sheep to kill a wolf.
Oh.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog movie has been delayed by 3 months.
Are they doing this? Are they fixing it? Thank fuck. We talked about this last podcast, didn't we?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that thing looks disastrous.
The new release date is Valentine's Day 2020. So, I mean, I don't know why. That's definitely. Was
it delayed by three months?
So it's gonna be out for Christmas 2018, but now it's been pushed.
Good God.
Yeah, probably a good decision.
At least they have the sense to do it because it's a terrible idea.
There's quite a bit of buzz about the Game of Thrones finale.
Mm.
You want to talk about that later, or?
Yeah, we can talk about it later in the things we did this week.
We'll talk about that then later. But basically, know this: Game of Thrones. People who want to pay attention to it.
It's over.
It's over. 8 years or 8 seasons, all culminating in one episode that has one of the lowest IMDb ratings.
Oh.
Going.
In your opinion, was it good?
In my opinion, was the ending good? I think it was fine.
Fine.
Well.
Because we talked a couple of weeks ago about like they were going to have to do something really strong to pull this back.
Yeah.
Did they?
I mean, the writing and the actual we'll talk about this more later. Spoiler.
Yeah.
Stuff. But the actual episode was plot point wise.
Yeah.
I think of all the things. That happened was good.
Okay.
But the execution was rushed. Like this entire season has been rushed.
Yeah.
It's like everything that happened you could believe and would probably be fine if it was in a book.
Yeah.
And it was like 1,000 pages long.
Yeah.
But the fact that it all happened in like 6 episodes one season, this is just too much.
Wow.
But, we'll talk about that more later. I have a bit of gaming news, Chris.
Of course.
Sony and Microsoft have announced this random decision to team up for cloud technologies.
Right.
So basically, like anything to do with like the cloud is going to be like teamed up for it. So it's not necessarily PlayStation and Xbox. But like
cloud. Yeah. Ah.
Speaking of PlayStation 5 capabilities have been showcased internally at PlayStation, where they did load times comparisons between Spider-Man on PS4 and Spider-Man next generation.
I heard it's fucking crazy different. Like seconds to load the loading screens, isn't it?
8 seconds to like 0.8 seconds.
That's insane.
Stupid improvement.
What the hell price is a console like this gonna go for?
See, the thing is like the hard drive that can do that.
Yeah.
They've gotten cheaper recently. They're SSDs, solid state drives. But they're like, you would pay like what, 40 or 50 quid for like a terabyte hard drive.
Yeah.
You would pay like 600 for a terabyte SSD. So
Jesus.
I don't know. They might just put a tiny hard drive in it. But I don't know what they're gonna do.
Have they said that it's going to be PS4 compatible as well? Did I read that?
Yeah, there's rumors. Heavily suggesting because like it's the same. It's not like going from PS3 to PS4 where they changed a bunch of stuff. It's like basically the same, only like better graphics, better CPU, better GPU, all that. So it should be able to do that. But we find that people are they're expecting it to come the end of this year.
No.
But, a lot of buzz coming, Chris.
No.
You think too soon?
Too soon.
What do you think?
Originally I said 2024, which now I'm kind of thinking, okay, that's a long way away. But maybe you never know. But maybe end of next year.
2020.
Yeah, 2020 into 2021, and that would be a great time to go ahead and give us Red Dead or The Last of Us 2.
I think Last of Us 2 end of this year.
Do you think?
I think so.
Do you think it's going to be PS4?
Yeah. I think they actually committed. The PlayStation have said like it and what's the other big game they're working on? That Death Stranding one.
Oh yeah.
They're PlayStation 4.
Right. Okay.
Don't worry. Don't be thinking we're gonna like ditch you this.
Oh, that's fine.
Because
that's one thing that would make me buy a PS5 at any price.
I know, yeah.
Because I just have to play it.
They'll do that because they did that with The Last of Us. They did the enhanced edition.
That's right.
Christopher, this is just bizarre. This is just fucking bizarre. Like Call of Duty 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
The game that is coming is going to be called Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So you may think that you've already played that game, but you haven't.
What?
Because the game that you played was called Call of Duty 4.
Oh.
Modern Warfare.
So they're just taking out they're getting so lazy.
They're making. It's a brand new game, Chris.
But.
And it's not a sequel to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3.
It's a standalone game, and they've called it Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They've taken out the 4.
Yeah.
Christ Almighty D.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Well, I guess in a sense, if it's modern, they'd have to call it that. Why don't they call it Current Warfare?
They should have just called it like Call of Duty, whatever the fuck happens in the
just warfare.
Like look at Black Ops. That's got like old, like it's got Vietnam, it's got future, it's got current, it's got everything.
Mm-hmm. Black Operations.
Or fucking.
I hated Ghosts.
So bad at names, Call of Duty.
They are. They're pretty bad, yeah.
And also the 2020 Call of Duty that was planned was going to be done by like Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
The ones who did
yeah.
World War II. Yeah, no, that's scrapped. It's going to be Black Ops 5. Because Black Ops.
But they're just running with Black Ops now at the minute. Yeah, 100%. It's oh wow. Oh my goodness. Are you playing anything at the minute?
I am. Yeah.
Huh? Are you? We're going to get to that as well.
Oh,
developments.
But apart from that, the final thing I want to talk about, I think you'll be excited about this. Maybe hard to judge. Minecraft is 10 years old.
Yeah.
Minecraft is 10 years old, and they announced this thing called Minecraft Earth.
Why didn't we do a Minecraft party?
Because we didn't know it was 10 years old until right now.
I would have got balloons and
square balloons.
Yeah, square party poppers and everything. I would have been so. We could have got a cake. I'm sad now. Okay,
we'll
go on.
For 11 years.
Okay, that's not the same.
Minecraft Earth is an augmented reality Minecraft game. So think what Pokemon Go is, except Minecraft.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would that work?
Well, see, this is it, right? That was my reaction. I was like, what's the point?
Would it be like? See if I've got this right. Would it be like, as Pokemon Go was, only you're moving around in a Minecraft world as your character, and you're gonna encounter like, what the fuck you gonna encounter like the mob and stuff?
Basically, you walk around.
I'd pay that.
You play that?
Yeah, I'll play that.
It gets way better than that.
Okay.
So you walk around an interactive map, right? So you have your phone in your hand, just a map, same as Pokemon Go. You can pick up, instead of picking up Pokeballs and stuff at the stops, you pick up resources, stuff that you can craft, tools, weapons, armor, etc. Standard fare. So you don't actually mine anything. And then you go to like what would be like a gym in Pokemon Go, like an area, a specific area where they have designed something.
Okay.
You go there and you like lift up your phone in camera mode, and there will be like a Minecraft building there. So in this case, one of the reviewers was like, it was a castle.
Wow.
And at the doors of the castle were like 2 mobs. So like you had to like attack them.
No way.
Kill them, and then you could go
into the castle.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
So say it's your local park or whatever, and then there's this castle, and that's there for that day, and all the other people see the same castle as you.
That's pretty cool.
You walk around the castle, it sounds bizarre, and then you can go, there's more of these probably littered about. The next day you go, that might be a waterfall, or that might be just like a open green field.
Okay, that's interesting, yeah.
I was like, that seems fine, right? But then the really cool stuff I just come to believe is there's this thing called I don't know what it's called. I think it's just create mode. Essentially, you like set up your table.
Just a table?
Just a table.
Okay.
You set up your phone, and then you can just start building.
On the table?
On the table.
Oh, fuck.
So you can build like a whatever you're gonna build, like a fucking house or a tower or whatever, right? This blew my mind, and you can get say you had it and I had it. I build on this table.
And could I jump in and build it on?
Oh, you can see it from your perspective, and I see it from mine. And you build it up, and then when you're done and you're happy with it, you can share it. You take it outside.
No way.
And you walk about it.
No way.
Apparently, like you can take it outside. I just thought that was insane. Like
this is like the future, D. This is weird shit.
Fuck me.
So what, do you build it in like a miniature scale?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's as if you're playing the Minecraft game, and then when you're done, you save that as an object.
And then you kind of jump into the world. Oh fuck me.
That's just mad to me.
Okay, I gotta get back into Minecraft.
It's been teased, as just like a teaser trailer, which doesn't really show much of this, but this all came from a guy who played it. I think that came from Polygon Games. Polygon, yeah.
Right.
Go check them out if you want to read more about that. But that just blew my mind. If you're into Minecraft at all, like that's just fucking cool.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Which I am back into Minecraft.
Are you back into it?
Yeah,
wow. I need more word in this 4K super duper graphics pack.
Forget about it, man. It's definitely like it's back burner at this point.
I've been clutching to that idea because it's so beautiful and it's such a great idea. And I mean, I know there's a load of like mods you can kind of run and shit, but
I'm playing the one.
The Explorers pack, the Explorers edition, that one.
It's definitely nicer looking.
It's nicer looking, but I don't like the crafting system.
Yeah,
it's
weird.
Different. Yeah, I think that's the same. What are you playing it on, by the way?
I'm creative, you see.
But I mean, console wise.
Oh, just Xbox.
Right. Okay. Because I think that's what it is on Switch as well.
Yeah, it is the same on Switch.
Disappointing.
I wish I could just take it with me on the Switch. I probably would buy it for the Switch as well.
I know.
But I think you have to like subscribe to some realms or something.
Don't do that. I need to jump back into it. I need to jump back into it.
I'm just going to leave it all on the Xbox.
Oh, God. I love Minecraft so much. I love it. I was browsing our YouTube videos. And you should do the same, anyone who's listening to this or watching.
Definitely.
You should go and check out our Minecraft series. It's our longest running series, bar the podcast.
Yeah, right enough.
That's like the one and only accolade
it's like 12 episodes
for itself. Yeah.
So
12 episodes, each around 10 minutes long.
Brilliant.
Some good watching there. If you have 2 hours to spare, you should do that. More.
Huh?
Is that more? 10? No, it's about 2 hours. I don't know.
Check it out.
Fast math. Anyway, that all the news you got?
That's it, yeah.
That's all the news I have. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening and finding us. This is the Empty Promise podcast. Remember, you can find this podcast and all previous podcasts over at youtube.com/xgaming, the area of Umbrella's operations that we
Umbrella
under. You'll find all our videos and podcasts over there. Or you can obviously take us with you on the go, which a lot of you seem to do because YouTube doesn't do so well for us these days. But the audio is still holding up pretty well. So thank you.
Get us on the Spotify.
Thank you to everyone. Oh, by the way, I'm still off. So this has been such a dry month for social media because I am not there. So I do not post anything on Instagram, anything on Facebook. So there's no promotion of the podcast.
Yeah.
You just have to know this month where to find us.
I'm there. I'm on it, but I'm still not posting anything.
I'll be back next month, but it will literally be back to promote this once a week.
Are you coming back just for that purpose?
Literally just for that. I don't miss social media one bit.
It's an integral part of my life.
Social media is an augmented reality.
I can't escape it.
That's nice. What are you wearing?
That's my fucking steps counter yoke.
Wow, that's nice.
Tells me
that's sleek.
Isn't it?
It's like matte finish.
You could wear that in a business environment. You could wear that out to dinner.
Yeah, you could.
You could wear that on your jog.
Yeah.
I don't jog, but if I did, I'd be wearing that.
I had a business idea, a fancy shoe store, Shoe La La. The Office.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, so good. I love The Office. Anyway, aside from that, we are back this week with some more of the conspiracies that you've come to love and understand from us. This week, we're bringing you 2 fresh conspiracies. Mine, I'm not too sure about D. Mine is very light-hearted this week.
That's good. I think we need that.
Not light-hearted, as in, this is a lovely conspiracy, but there's not a whole pile to go on. I haven't done my research. No, I have. This is something I'm fascinated by, and I'll stick by this, and I'll tell you what side of the fence I fall on. But just to let you know that these are going to be kind of be light, you know. But hopefully enough that you leave listening to this and think, fuck, I gotta look up some of this.
Yeah, okay. That is the idea. Even if these things sound completely bizarre and retarded to you, you can just look them up and go like, I wonder why people believe that. Yeah. Or I wonder what that's about. Go look it up.
How do you want to start? Do you want to start this week, or do you want me to start this week?
I don't mind. I can start this week. I've went a little bit different this week as well, actually.
Okay. Because I'll finish on the lighter side.
The lighter side.
I just got like a little article, and we're going to go with that, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, so I went a little different with it this week, Chris.
Okay, hit me up. What is your conspiracy?
The conspiracy I'm going to talk about is Project MK Ultra.
No idea what that is.
Okay, so
not
this one is interesting because essentially it's the CIA,
right?
The Central Intelligence Agency in America. Shortly after the Second World War, Cold War is just starting to ironically heat up.
Oh,
and they're trying to get the edge.
Okay.
And basically what they did is they used a series, they hosted a series of investigations into mind-bending substances, techniques, and medical procedures. Oh. The goal being to develop truth serums, mind-control drugs, and determine what chemicals and methods had potential use for torture, disorientation, and espionage.
Truth serums? As in a serum that would make you tell the truth?
Basically,
this is some fantasy shit.
They wanted to use any and all kinds of drugs and any and all kind of like abuse, mental, physical, whatever they could to get people to do what they wanted, essentially. Fuck with their brains, right? Shit. And the reason I say this one is kind of...
Is this anything like KGB? That kind of shit? No?
Similar, except this is... All we know about this is the American side of things.
Wow.
The reason this one is a little bit different is because... As crazy as all this sounds, and it definitely sounds like a government spying and fucking about behind the scenes kind of thing that you'd expect from a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, this is all 100% true.
D. Why don't we wear tinfoil hats when we're doing the conspiracies?
Because it'll interfere with the microwaves coming from the government.
I don't know why I never thought of that. I'll have tinfoil hats for the next one.
But
so the reason behind the sorry, go back.
You missed.
I'm sorry. That was
you missed the.
I know.
You missed the.
Sorry.
I just the bomb drop.
So caught up with.
It's all 100% true.
How do they know that it's 100% true?
We're gonna get to that, but basically we have.
Or is this the conspiracy that is true?
No, we have. This is conclusive. We know for a fact that this stuff happened. So while this is the conspiracy theory episode, right? This is kind of confirmed already.
So it's
but this is what was happening, getting to the minds of the people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s who were hearing about mind control, truth serums, and all this nonsense. Wow. And then in I think 1973 or 1974, it all came out in a whole mess of crap.
Wow! And so the government fucked.
Government were just scooped essentially.
Holy shit!
It's found out to be true. The conspiracy, if you choose to accept it, is. Allegedly everything stopped in 1973.
Right.
Okay. But did it stop? Because this is the CIA. After all, I'll build up to why it may not have stopped as we go through it, but let me give you a little bit of background information on what this was and why it was done. But so essentially MK Ultra was the code name for these weird procedures that were going on. That was using drugs and all this here stuff, and this abuse, torture to try and get this done. MK was like just like a standard CIA like mind control, and Ultra was like that's the level of security. So this was like behind closed doors. This was like top secret.
Okay,
no one was knowing about this unless they were supposed to. And I went right to the top.
So the president knew.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who was the president back then?
Don't know if the president knew, actually.
What year was this?
I don't know if the president knew.
Okay.
1953 is when it started.
53.
So all began in 1953. Shortly after the conclusion of, about 10 years after the conclusion of the Second World War, a lot of the scientists, a lot of the practices, theories that were used came from those scientists who were essentially allowed to work without any restrictions in Nazi Germany. a lot of the not a lot, but like some of the scientists who were like whose work was the basis of this.
So these were American scientists that were allowed to work in Nazi Germany?
No. These American scientists were working on the backs of those Nazi scientists who were doing like inhumane things. Right. Essentially, it's Americans doing the stuff that they went to Nazi Germany to stop.
Okay.
Wow. And some of those Nazi scientists were like not exonerated, but basically forgiven of their crimes because of the knowledge that they had and how they could be used to help the American agenda. So basically just shitty stuff from the CIA in regards of how they got this information and, you know, kind of the basis they were using, you know, to do this stuff. Where they got their information about how you can mind control people using these drugs.
So where did they get this information?
From Nazi scientists.
Right.
Well, that was one of their sources.
How did Nazi scientists get this? They were performing these experiments?
Basically in concentration camps and worker camps like that. They were
working on these people? Like?
They were taking people, bringing them in. I mean, you've heard the stuff about, was it Engels was one of these Nazi scientists who was obsessed with twins. You ever hear about this guy?
Oh, yeah.
And he would torture one twin
to see if it had an effect on the other?
Yeah. I don't know, to be honest. That's a conspiracy theory of itself. But essentially, they were just doing unethical things with no reproach, no one stopping them.
Who authorized? This wasn't Hitler. Was this like Stalin or something?
No, this was the Nazi stuff was all happening under Hitler's
like rule. Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't directly ordering them to do it.
Wasn't there one of the German like fucking guys or officers or whatever that was just hell bent on this kind of stuff? No,
there's a few of them.
Maybe was there? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because
fucking dark
this
times.
This is one of the most fucked up things. Is like a lot of scientists from Nazi Germany were brought into America and used, like the Manhattan Project, like nuclear bombs. There was Germans there.
So these guys were forgiven of their crimes to basically cooperate with Americans.
Much, yeah.
Wow.
Rockets, like rocket technology was advanced by the Nazis a whole lot. They were just given so much money because Hitler wanted that advantage, and they were doing, you know, they weren't.
Were they smart that they got this, or was it that they just had money and like
free
disposal?
The German scientists were really smart.
Okay.
And like because they didn't
obviously
have ethical restrictions or anything.
Yeah.
You know, they had a lot of freedom to do a lot of fucked up shit.
Jesus.
But essentially, all this shitty stuff was not brought over, but essentially Americans seen the potential and they engaged with it themselves. The CIA did this anyway. What exactly did they do? Well, a variety of experiments were undertaken to understand the effects of powerful drugs on unsuspecting subjects. They were often done in conjunction with hospitals and universities who claimed later that they were not told what the goal of the experimentation was. At least 86 universities or institutions were involved in the acquisition of test subjects and the administration of these experiments.
Jesus.
So 86 institutions across America were quote-unquote cooperating with this super shitty project. In one set of experiments, aptly named Operation Midnight Climax, prostitutes on CIA payroll would lure clients back to a safe house where they would drug them with LSD. The effect the drug had on the unsuspecting victim would be observed behind a one-way glass by intelligent agents and was recorded. CIA agents also had a habit of drugging one another at work and weekend retreats to the point where random LSD trips became a workplace hazard to see what the effects of the drug was on unsuspecting subjects. However, this resulted in at least one death when a subject developed severe psychotic behaviors after being drugs. While that death is often considered a suicide or an accident, the possibility that it was murder is often brought up. Other experiments were also undertaken with sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
So that's that stuff like white
noise
machine, hypnosis, psychological abuse, MDMA, saliva, psilocybin,
okay,
and the mixing of barbiturates with amphetamines to sedate our subject before giving them a massive hit of speed in hopes of making them spill their secrets. So basically just injecting them with fucking everything and trying to get them to cooperate.
Jesus. Who did they do this to?
Well, that's my very next question. Who was experimented on? That's what I talked about, like 86 institutions. A lot of these were like universities, students who signed up, like, you know, to take part in a weird experiment. Trial? Yeah, exactly. Subjects included student volunteers, patients at mental hospitals, prisoners who both did and didn't volunteer, drug addicts who were paid in more drugs for their time, and probably the most messed up part, the occasional random person, in addition to CIA agents who were unlucky.
Jesus.
One notable example is the author Ken Kesey, who wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He actually volunteered for this and became like kind of transformed because he did the LSD and he kind of like loved the effect of it. And he brought like LSD, doing it like in the community, brought it like
mainstream
kind of.
Wow.
He was like complete, like his head
whack job. Like.
Yeah, not whack job, but like complete like lateral thinker out there with what he wrote and stuff.
Was he on this whenever he wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
I don't know, but I'd say like I think he was like a pretty regular user of it. Okay. It has also been speculated that Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, was experimented on as part of MK Ultra when he participated in a series of experiments at Harvard. I actually read a bit into this. So he volunteered into this experiment where essentially he wrote like a manifesto or like a kind of his own personal beliefs, and he's told this was going to be given to like one of the other participants, but it was actually given to like an attorney.
Right.
And they basically used every piece of information they got from him to rip him to shreds, like emotionally, like they can doubt all of his beliefs. What? This is Ted Kaczynski, so this is the guy who like killed 3 people like by sending bombs to different places. Over the course of 17 years. Really smart guy, but like just like something not right in his head.
Right.
We wonder why. Apparently he did over 200 hours of that experiment. Now there's no what is it? It must be repeated. This is mostly conjecture that this was linked to MK Ultra, but several sources point out that the likelihood of it
very
so likely. Did any of it work? Some of it worked, but most of it didn't. Some of the drugs were found to make the test subjects more suggestible and pliable, but none of them were like truth serums.
Like truth serums, so like they weren't just offering up truth.
No, yeah, it was like basically it was just like.
So basically, they were mellowing out a little bit, but nothing conclusive.
And all this work was sort of done for nothing.
How long did this last?
Let's see. We get this.
Like, was this an ongoing thing for years, or was this just?
Oh yeah, years and years and years. So like, it started. It was commissioned in 1953. That's when it was started, right? In 1973, the CIA director Richard Helms ordered all documents relating to MK Ultra destroyed. However, 20,000 pages of documents were misfiled and survived the purge. And then in 1977, Congress organized the Church Committee and examined the records. So 1977, I forget exactly how it came out, but basically reports about it warranted an investigation, right? And the government got this Church Committee to do that.
And they had these misplaced files or whatever, so that's the only kind of evidence they have. Is that right?
Pretty much. They found all the 20,000 files. It was enough, more than enough, sort of like to prove that it happened. And as a result, Presidents Ford, Carter, and Reagan issued orders banning all future experimentation without consent by government agencies, and some remittances were paid to those harmed by the tests.
So. What was that about the 3 presidents? They what?
So all of them created an order to ban testing on human subjects without their consent.
So beforehand, they could just test without consent?
Not really. It's just that from that point on, the presidents were saying we're not going to allow the CIA to do this.
Right. But beforehand, they didn't.
But beforehand, they didn't explicitly. However, the project violated the Nuremberg codes. The Nuremberg codes. So the Nuremberg trials happened shortly after World War II, which was basically condemning the Nazis for the Holocaust,
all their shit they did,
fucking all the abuse and stuff that they did. Agreed by the United States after the trials of Nazi war criminals by administering. The way that they were breaching these codes was through administering drugs without informed consent. At least 2 people, Frank Olson and Harold Blair, died. The true extent of the psychological damage and death toll is impossible to know, as the records were mostly burned, and the unscientific nature of many tests would make it impossible to determine which later events were attributed to the tests. MK Ultra was a conspiracy between the government and many institutions to drug people without their knowledge and use anything learned from it for espionage purposes. Modern research into psychedelic drugs is increasingly benign, but we must remember that a great deal of what we know about them was discovered for the sake of making them weapons. A sobering reminder of what science can do without guidance.
So nowadays it doesn't really happen. It's more benign. Is that what they're saying?
Basically,
well, that we know of.
Now when they study it, they know that like you can't create a drug that makes you tell the truth, and you can't create a drug that can make you do things you wouldn't normally do. There's no mind control drug. There's no truth serum. They know that like drugs can do shit like to your head, but like they're not going to make you like
just open up honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But
this is
the reason they know
fucked up shit that the CIA were doing this for so long.
Like it's this is what I mean. It's like it's not a conspiracy anymore.
It's out there. It's in the open.
because it's been proved. But it was the U.S. government acting on its own citizens without them knowing, in order to create weapons to help them win this Cold War, despite the fact it didn't really work, despite the fact they didn't really learn much. I got a little bit more about how it was kind of related to the Cold War.
Yeah. Okay.
The United States government feared that Soviet, Chinese, and North Korean agents were using mind control to brainwash U.S. prisoners. You know, this whole idea about sleeper agents.
Yeah.
You know, they believe that the Soviets had managed to do this, and that's kind of why they did this in response.
A sleeper agent is someone who basically has been brainwashed and can be summoned to act.
Yeah. On like a code word.
Yeah.
But like, clearly don't exist that we know of.
Right, okay.
This project never found out a way of doing it. The program involved more than 150 human experiments involving drugs, etc., etc. Most took place between 1953 and 1964, but it's not clear how many people were involved exactly. And again, there's sort of more information here about that Operation Midnight Climax, where the prostitutes essentially lured people in, and they just drugged them and just watched to see what happens, like on completely unwilling, unknowing participants. It's just crazy. In 1974, this is kind of how it all came out. New York Times journalist Seymour Hersh published a story about how the CIA were conducting non-consensual drug experiments and illegal spying operations. So this was 1 year after all documents were ordered to be purged. So 1 year after the experiments ended, he was investigating this, and he was kind of finding out more than he should have.
Right.
The following year, President Ford, in the wake of the Watergate scandal, so this is Watergate, where they were like discovered to be like spying on like Republicans were spying on Democrats.
Yeah.
There was a growing distrust of the U.S. government, so Ford set up the United States President's Commission on CIA activities, including MK Ultra, which was led by Vice President Nelson Rockefeller, and was commonly referred to as the Rockefeller Commission. This then started the Church Committee, held by Idaho Democratic Senator Frank Church, and that's the one that uncovered the 20,000 files and brought it all to light.
This is nuts.
It is. It's kind of crazy. Like,
like, what else goes on that you don't hear about? You know?
Well, this is it. I mean, that's kind of like that project MK Ultra is done. You know, we know that they did it despite their best efforts to try
to cover it up.
It was a conspiracy that happened. It was funded by the United States. But it's like if they can do that, and clearly, like, you know, this whole idea about eventually the truth will come out. Like they just decided to purge all files about that. Like, I mean, had they not missed those 20,000 files, maybe this whole thing could have been lost, and it would have lived on as just a conspiracy. Like, oh yeah, sure, the government are like drugging all these people. No one will believe them. But it didn't happen. It's 100% true. 150 experiments on unwilling, unknowing participants.
This is like creepypasta type shit.
And yeah, it's kind of weird to think as well, you know, the possible implications that like that Unabomber dude.
Yeah.
Like I think they spent 17 years looking for him, trying to find him.
They did find him.
They did find him. He's in prison now, but it's like, you know, would he have done those things had he not been part of that experiment? You know, one of his lawyers tried to make the case that he was insane because of what had happened to him in this project. it's hard to say, Chris. It's hard to say. It's pretty mad.
Pardon.
All of it happened for nothing, essentially.
Pardon me. I'm freaking out a wee bit here, D. Sorry. The big thing I had, I've somehow managed to close the page. I'm just trying to find it again before I get stuck into my conspiracy. Back with a bang. Ah! Okay. Where were we?
Your conspiracy theory.
We're so flawed.
Your conspiracy theory.
Flawless. Okay. Well, my conspiracy this week, D, is to do with the man Osama Bin Laden himself. I know. I love this because I, for one, don't believe that Osama Bin Laden is dead, or I don't believe that the whole story fucking adds up. All right.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. It just. I'll tell you. Okay, so Osama Bin Laden, the leader, the leader of the cult, the organizer, the fucking prophet himself, over Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Founded Al Qaeda. Head of 9/11. The whole lot. The worst man. The FBI's most wanted man for like 15 years. And in May 2011, apparently special forces who were tailing him using a courier who they had out in Pakistan. It was in a Pakistani air base, actually, where he was supposedly held up. Special forces broke in after fighting on the ground for a while, and managed to kill Osama bin Laden, take out his son as well, I think, and a couple other people in this compound. All relayed back to the White House, who were watching it, and then they dumped his body at sea. Mm-hmm. That's the story that we know.
Yeah.
Which is like, why? Okay. So I'm going to get into it because it's crazy. We have a lot of reasons to doubt the official story as to why Bin Laden is actually dead. Hang on.
Osama.
So I don't know where to go. I don't know how to start with this one.
Barack Osama.
Barack Osama.
Barack Obama.
D.
You.
Hang on.
Have you lost it again, Chris?
Yeah.
God.
No, I couldn't have. No, I haven't. Sorry, guys. Okay. Hang on. Yes. May 2nd, 2011, a raid on a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, where we were told the United States avenged the greatest terror attack ever on its soil when US Special Forces swooped in to allied foreign country and successfully killed the #1 arch villain of our time, Osama Bin Laden. While the full range of media organizations mainstream accepted the government's account of what happened within hours of the raid, there was questions flying left, right, and center as to how it was organized, how it was carried out. The basic story, which changed repeatedly in the early hours and days following the raid. So basically, what the public remembers is that relying on uncertain intelligence, President Obama and his team in the White House made the risky decision or whatever to send in a raid into Pakistan without knowing the full kind of precaution. No, not the full
implications.
Yeah, implications. He had no consent or knowledge of authorities there. Navy SEALs swooped in, killed Bin Laden, got out safely. After which Bin Laden's body was cleaned in accordance with Islamic law before being dumped in the Arabian Sea. Yet, if you actually look at what we've been told, you will find that it doesn't make a lot of sense. We have two choices. We can either contort all these particulars until it makes sense, or we can say that there could be something else going on. First of all, the main thing is we have to remember that Bin Laden is a Saudi,
right,
by nature, and he's from one of the kingdom's most powerful and wealthy families. He's like a multi-millionaire before he got into power. Like they were a rich family. I think through like maybe oil or something. I would imagine Saudi. Yeah. And then since that raid, new evidence has come to light about the U.S. government protecting Saudi princes, families, inheritance, things like that, and covering up evidence of Saudi complicity with 9/11. But the growing body of evidence that the Saudis have not been America's friends and that they work closely with Al Qaeda has never squared with the story of the raid. In the raid, we're told that the US government relied on guidance from Saudis as to what to do with Bin Laden and his body after he was killed. This, we were told, was to avoid creating a shrine to Osama while also respecting Muslim customs. An odd claim, given that so much consideration never seemed to have entered the picture in any other situation. So this was like the first that they ever encountered something like this. They were getting this intel from Saudis who they were working with on the ground, and it would not be so difficult to bury his body in an undisclosed location.
Yeah, so this is where they buried him at sea.
Dumped his body at sea
because they didn't want people to like flock to a shrine and worship.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's some elements to the whole story. This is where I am like baffled. That just don't add up. So I love this day, right? So the story of the raid changed over the course of several days, even through the commanders and those officials providing the narrative here at home or in steady contact. So over the course of the days, things changed as to how many were there, how many were in the raid, how he was actually executed, who took the shot, who moved in, why he was there, who provided the intel, that they were working with Saudis, that they were working with the Pakistani Air Force all at the time. That all changed like multiple times, 3 or 4 days after the raid, until eventually they got this like
the official
story. Yeah. Instead of presenting pictures of the corpse, as was done with Saddam and Gaddafi and most other villains, the US government opted not to show it, which was strange because at the end of the day, he's the most wanted man in the world. Everybody knows his face. Everybody knows of what he's done. Mm-hmm. And they just decided not to show it, which, again, weird, but okay. Instead of keeping the body at an undisclosed location for comprehensive DNA and other identification measures, the US government claims they hastily tossed his body into the ocean after, we are told, advice to do so came from the Saudi government to do that.
So this is, if I'm right, the custom in a Muslim culture is to be buried before sunset.
Yep, cleaned and buried like the day of death, basically before the next sunset. Okay. So they're saying, the US government are saying here now that the Saudis told them to quickly, hastily get rid of the body, which is strange in its own right. And also that this whole like comprehensive DNA and other identification measures, I don't know if you heard, but there was when the SEAL team came in and shot Bin Laden, as they're supposed to have done, they like laid down alongside a body bag basically to show the height of one of the SEALs compared to this man, because all we knew of was the height of. I think he was quite tall, and it didn't add up. It didn't add up at all. The two heights were completely off, and that was the only kind of intelligence that we were being fed back home. I think that was the only like pictures or videos that we could ever see, but it still wasn't. It could have been anybody.
It could have been in a bag, like.
We saw there were photos that were released of a man living in a Abbottabad, which was that compound, and he was living and he was just basically hiding out, but they looked nothing like the photographs that we came to know of Osama Bin Laden, right, who was always very well kept, who was always, no matter where he was in the world, always looked like Osama Bin Laden. This looked like just someone completely different. This didn't even look like the man himself.
So these are like the intelligence pictures they got before they went in?
Before, yeah. This is what they were being fed, basically, as to, what is that, like not it's not collateral. Like their go ahead. Does that make sense? What do you call that?
Yeah.
Just before the SEALs teams charged up the stairs and killed the man who. Or toward the man who would be killed, they experienced a wardrobe malfunction. The transmission from their helmet cam suddenly stopped, feeding into the White House Situation Room. So the president and his team actually saw nothing of what happened.
And none of this footage was ever recovered?
Nope.
Fuck's sakes.
Now, there's that famous picture of Bin Laden or Obama and Hillary Clinton and a couple of, maybe it's like Joe Biden and a couple of other ones sitting at a table watching the screens. But what we know is that these guys' helmets and cams that were feeding back malfunctioned before they got near the room for the kill, and they wouldn't have actually been fed any live footage of what happened. And then obviously they got fed the images afterwards of the bodies, and they showed him Bin Laden's son. Okay, they identified Bin Laden's son, but not Bin Laden. When Bin Laden died at 1 a.m. Pakistan local time on May 2nd, 2011, almost none of the Navy SEALs conducting the operation actually seen him. Apparently it was only the two who came into the room first and the one guy who took the shot. Now the guy who took the shot, Mark Owen.
Do you have his name?
Yeah. Mad. He openly came out and said that he took the shot and things. But I think that was, to me, that was like something. It was like you know, one of us has to kind of take the fall and be the front man for this. And he was on a lot of talk shows in America, and they analyzed like his body, his composition, how he was talking and all, and it never added up. And his story kept changing and was flawed so many times.
It is weird to me that they would say that this is the man who did it. Like normally they would like keep all that stuff like it was like covert operation, like
exactly. You don't. Yeah, that's something. The most wanted man in the world. Like Navy SEALs alone are like the ghosts. Like you don't hear of Navy SEALs operation. No one's supposed to know. Only they don't even know until like an hour before they go in what they're actually doing. And then these guys supposedly get told, Bin Laden's in there and we're going to go kill him. Like I don't know.
This is what the film Zero Dark 30 is based on, right?
Yes, I think
that's
so.
That's what this mission was called.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, this guy's book, No Easy Day, which received a lot of attention and became the definitive inside account of what took place, was reportedly frowned upon by the military. Yet the military, which could have easily halted the whole publication if it wished to, didn't. They just let the book go ahead and then kind of gave like their own kind of backlash towards it, saying, we're not.
So maybe they wanted it to come out?
Maybe. We've been told that the SEALs themselves have been given the choice of whether to capture Bin Laden or to kill him as well, which is crazy because...
Yeah, you wouldn't give a...
But this is the biggest thing as well. Even if you were given the choice, right? The amount of intelligence that man would have. Why would you, like...
Yeah, why would you kill him?
Why would you kill him? There were SEAL teams outside. They had the whole complex surrounded. They had a fully operational SEAL team that had moved in, surrounded. They had fucking Apaches in the sky. This guy was going nowhere. Why did they feel the need to kill him? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't add up. During the operation, one of two helicopters crashed into a wall in Osama's compound and was essentially destroyed. But we were told that every one of the inhabitants walked away without any serious injury. A neighbour reportedly saw the crash and claimed that no one emerged. So again, accounts from all over the place, none of it adding up. So this helicopter went down, hit a wall.
Was this this is a Navy SEAL helicopter?
Yeah, Navy SEAL helicopter. Two of them went in, one of them hit a wall in the compound. Not even the Pakistani Air Force or their teams knew that the SEAL team were coming in that night. Until literally they came in. This helicopter went, so they were met with force then. This helicopter went down, hit a wall. It was reported that nobody walked from it, and yet the military, the government reported that everyone was fine, no casualties, everyone was A-okay. Shortly after this, another contingent of Navy SEALs perished in what we were told was an unrelated crash across the border in Afghanistan.
Right, okay.
So...
Are they covering something here?
Covering something, maybe. We have heard no more of Bin Laden's wives and others who reportedly survived the raid. So there was people who had survived the raid. Him and his son took a stand, apparently, is what we're told. But what happened to them? Were they punished? Were they interrogated? Were they... what happened to women in those rooms?
Shushed
yeah,
somewhere?
exactly. Like, where did they go? Because surely if they've been living with Osama bin Laden, they're going to know shit.
Yeah.
You know? And then consider what a tremendous publicity coup this was for President Obama, who was preparing for his re-election bid for the military and for the CIA. From the simple vantage point of wishful thinking, there was no reason for Obama or his ambitious Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, to doubt or express doubts about this heroic achievement they were told had come on their watch. So this guy is going back up for election.
Re-election,
Basically, he's on not thin ice, but he hasn't done a whole pile.
Yeah. He promised, this is the man who promised change.
Exactly. He promised change. Nothing has come yet. Right before re-election, he needs one big stand. Boom. We shot and killed the most wanted man in the world. The man behind 9/11, who no one will forget.
I would still say that's one of his legacies.
Oh,
as
yeah.
President.
Bin Laden, yeah.
This
hang on a second.
What else you got for me, Chris?
There's a guy, journalist Seymour Hersh.
Okay, yeah. Seymour Hersh.
Yeah. Did you just?
I think I said his name. Hang on.
I know you said, because whenever I heard Hersh, I was like, I've read about this here. Well, Hersh maintains another version, as told to us by a retired senior U.S. intelligence officer who wished to remain unnamed. As Hersh heard it, the Saudis were working with...
This is insane.
Is it the same person?
It's the same person. In 1974, New York Times journalist Seymour Hersh.
Seymour Hersh, yeah.
He's all over it, Chris.
Yeah.
This guy's got his finger on the pulse.
Prize-winning investigative journalist Seymour Hersh. This should just be the Hersh fucking episode. As Hersh heard it, the Saudis were working with the Pakistanis to hide bin Laden and were financing his upkeep since the seizure by the Pakistans. Furthermore, according to another anonymous Hersh source, the US chose to execute bin Laden rather than capture him as a war criminal. Hersh's interpretation, for which he has faced harsh criticism, is an interesting one. Nonetheless, it does not adequately address the questions that we posed. Because there are two scenarios. In one, Osama bin Laden was the wayward child, a rebel against his parent country, a man who the US and the Saudis wanted obliterated. In 1994, he was expelled from Saudi Arabia. But in the other, Osama bin Laden played a valuable role for the Saudi family, keeping the war away from the Saudi borders, focusing fundamentalist anger on the West, and because Osama bin Laden gave the always hungry Western war machine the replacement villain for the Soviet evil empire. So he always took that away from the Soviets. He was the main man, the one to hate, the one to go for. A casus belli that necessitates never-ending combat and never-ending incalculable spending and riches for the military-industrial complex. So is he just like a figure like he's of so much value to the US government to like fund their government? Do you know what I mean?
He is like, we still need to catch him. He is
exactly like, what are the US government doing now? Do you know what I mean?
Well, now it's
who is it now? Like what are they funding?
No, it's North Korea.
North Korea, but North Korea are doing fuck all compared to this, like what this guy is doing. This guy Al Qaeda everywhere. Like, what I can't get round is like the most wanted man in the world. You know, wanted to be held responsible. Like, you know how patriotic America is, and how, you know, how much they want like these men to pay for their actions. To just into a room one night, shot and killed by Navy SEALs, and then to dump the body, no evidence, no nothing, not even a picture of his dead body.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like Saddam's hanging was made public. Do you know? Yeah. His capture was public. His like when they were going over his court appeal, his trial, everything was public, and that was just Saddam. This is Bin Laden. This is something else.
It's interesting, right enough, because if Donald Trump had been,
Donald Trump would have been dragging him through Times Square.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get the official message being out of respect, because if you did something like, if you dragged him through Times Square, all you're going to do is inflame like the followers of him. You might cause another incident, I get that, but the fact that they didn't even like, there's no footage of him there, there's no pictures of him there,
No.
there's no pictures of him dead,
No.
there's no body, there's
No.
no DNA. It is weird to me that they
And
didn't.
that the stories kept changing and changing until they finally got the one that they're after.
And the fact that they shot him, I think, because you'd like to know what were the circumstances of that happening. Like, was he armed?
Apparently, he and his son were armed. They took one of the women as a shield.
Yeah.
He didn't. Apparently, his son did. They shot and killed the woman and the son.
Oh, fuck.
He didn't. He was just. I think he might have hid. I think they said he had a weapon, but I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on it. Fact check that too. But I mean, at the end of the day, these are Navy SEALs coming in a fucking force, like against one man with a pistol, maybe. Do you know what I mean? I know it's still a gun, it's still a weapon, but still, do you know what I mean? He's not going to go anywhere.
I know, yeah.
You know? Were they worried about him taking his own life? I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, what was the difference if he took his own life
Exactly.
at this point?
Another events on the night of the raid to kill Bin Laden still raise questions. He was shot dead within 12 minutes of the first SEALs landing. Yet there were SEALs fighting to get into the complex for 40 minutes. Where did these other SEALs come from? How did they kill him in 12 minutes? Do you know what I mean? Like, there were SEALs in the ground for 40 minutes getting into this complex. And within 12 minutes, their report states that they were in and out, job done. Like, none of their fucking evidence add up. Neighbours alerted the police, but they were told to stand down by the Abbottabad army. So was it possible that the Americans warned the Pakistanis last minute about a raid on a high-value target without saying who, and that the local authorities then turned a blind eye? Don't know. It's
too covert for its own good.
I'm fascinated by this. I don't believe he's dead. No, not a chance. I think they had an opportunity to take him out in 2002, shortly after 9/11. I read reports on this that they had their opportunity to take him, and they were told to stand down. Like, surely in like the rife, raw aftermath of 9/11, you would not tell anyone who has an opportunity to take Bin Laden to step down. Do you know what I mean? Why?
Why now? Or why then?
Yeah. He fuels that military machine, you know? I don't... it's so...
But no, what was the benefit then of picking that moment? Do you just think for re-election for Obama was the decision, like, we're going to do this?
I think...
Do you think that they genuinely thought that this was Obama? Obama was there. They went to kill him. They killed a man, and it wasn't Obama.
And maybe they just went, well, we have to...
We committed to this.
Committed to this now.
We attacked
But at the end
Pakistan,
of the day, no one would have known except that the U.S. government launched an attack. Now, maybe that would have been seen as failure, and they don't want... But they still killed his son. So at the end of the day, that's a valuable...
His son definitely was there.
Yeah, his son was there, shot and killed. And if it came out that they went to launch an attack on Bin Laden and they just killed his son, like, that's still, like, Americans would jump at that.
So then why did they lie?
Exactly.
In this case?
I don't know.
And here's another good question for you. I think I like this now. If he's not dead, where is he?
Well, there was a story that came out. Now, it was publicized that it was fake news, but it was publicized fake news by, I think it was like a British journalist then that came out and said it, that he was in the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Yeah.
Here's my theory, right? If they did go in and they went to capture Obama and they killed his son.
Yeah.
And then they killed him allegedly, but there's no sort of physical or really any evidence he did that apart from their word, right?
Yeah.
Did they maybe capture him alive and keep him and still have him captured alive?
I know.
You know, is that why there's no body and there's no evidence and nothing? It's because they wanted to keep him, they wanted to get information out of him, you know, through we know the CIA do some fucking messed up shit. You know, is that why?
Maybe they captured him, got information out of him, had no use, killed him, and disposed the body then. No one would ever fucking know.
Yeah, they got their time.
They got what they needed. Yeah.
Because I just think if he was alive, right?
Yeah.
I think there's no way he would have kept quiet. If the Americans came out and said we got Osama Bin Laden, there's no way Osama Bin Laden still alive wouldn't go, no, you didn't. Our struggle is still real. We're still going. You know.
Yeah. You see that's the thing. Like, are they in cahoots with each other? Is there a benefit for the Americans to having this guy alive? At the end of the day, he's Saudi.
So I think if he's alive, then he's under American supervision somewhere, possibly even the Bahamas.
Yeah. He could be fucking living in George Bush's house for all we know in Texas. You know, the closer they are to danger, the further you are from harm. You know, but like What were we just saying there? Because it was.
Why would he not come out and say I'm alive?
Yeah, maybe. Do they have something? Do the Saudis have something?
Yeah.
That,
I mean, as you said,
oil?
there's this relationship between America and the Saudis. Like maybe it's a favor to them that he's still alive.
Yeah.
They've killed him in public, but they've kept him alive.
So at the end of the day, like there's still fucking Al Qaeda out there all over the place. Well, but why are they so quiet? Apparently they're regaining their strength.
Well, this is because it's a big ideological blow for them to have lost their leader. Even though I'm sure, like in practice, he was probably not the leader he was for 9/11. He maybe was a sideline guy, but he's a figurehead.
Oh yeah.
So
but if you lost your leader, why have these guys not fucking risen up against like?
Well, it's difficult to do that, isn't it? Because you've lost like your thing. But I mean, Al Qaeda as well was like pretty heavily hit during the war in Iraq. Yeah. You know, and they're not the organization that they were. And there's other sort of militant groups out there like ISIS and stuff and it's kind of like the verge what the movement was, because that's the thing about Osama Bin Laden as well. He had everyone united behind him in this fucking ideological war.
Like, we had Gaddafi and we seen everything. We seen them pull Gaddafi out of a fucking hole and beat him and drag him around the streets. Like they showed that. We seen Saddam's capture. We seen him, you know, while he was captured getting on trial, medicals. We seen him on trials. We seen his hanging, everything. And they wouldn't show like even a still image of a body of Bin Laden, the most wanted man in the world, to be held responsible for the crimes of 9/11. And we're just supposed to believe that they shot, killed, and then dumped his body at sea. Yeah, at sea.
It's something that at the time I think all of us got a little bit washed up on it, because we were like, they got. 100%. That's how I felt. I was like, they got Osama Bin Laden.
I was standing in the gym the day it happened, and I just looked up on the screen and I seen Osama Bin Laden killed, and I was like, what?
You didn't believe it?
No, I was like, what? And then I was like, Jesus, they got him. But then I was like, see, the next day there was no news.
No news.
That was another thing about it. It was like one big day of how there was breaking news, and then that was it. It was done. But this is Osama Bin Laden. Yeah. This is like news for like a week at least, you know. This is like front page, you know, newspapers doing spreads and how, you know, news articles about how we've been trying so long and the journey to get there and all the troops and nothing. It was just hush. It was deadly silent. Nothing.
At the time, all I remember is being like, they got like the fucking George Bush's famous words are, "We got him." You know, and it's like, I literally have not given any thought to it nearly since.
Well, to be fair, neither had I until any time I think about the subject. I'm just like he has to still. I'm sorry, he has to still be alive somewhere. You know, this man evaded capture for fucking how long? Like, you know, 1994 to what, 2011. He could be wherever he wanted to be and not be seen. He could be seen and still no one was doing anything about it. To suddenly be in a surrounded airfield base in Pakistan. Yeah. Oh no! Just
did you ever see that Scrubs called it on that?
No.
The janitor in Scrubs said in like season 1 or 2, he was like, "I think we should be looking for Osama Bin Laden in Pakistan," and I was like, he totally called it.
You serious?
Yeah, that's like legit, isn't it? But like, maybe that's what happened. Like Bin Laden, like he had his friends. You know, he had the Saudis. He had protection. He could move like that and get away with it because he had friends in high places, and the US has turned a blind eye to it. 9/11 happened, obviously he lost a lot of that. Yeah. He was too wanted, he had too much heat. Maybe he was just surviving on his last gasp. What was he doing in Pakistan? I don't even know. I don't know enough about the situation. Yeah. But he was, I mean, do you think he was there that night?
In Pakistan?
Yeah, that night they really...
I think he might have been there, but I don't think he was shot and killed.
Yeah. Do you think? But maybe he was captured, or maybe
he escaped. Well, the two possibilities are, like you say, he was captured and the U.S. government kept him for
or do you think he was using his great ability to evade capture? He had a fake Bin Laden, living there. He had his son living there to
Those
convince.
Are fake arms.
Do you know what I mean? Though, like he had a doppelganger there specifically so that people would
draw attention to.
He had one of his sons there. And
it's
one of his
so
wives
possible because he did it for so long.
You know, I don't know what to think about it, to be honest with you. Although you've definitely given me plenty to doubt.
I just don't think that you shoot, kill, and dump the body of the most wanted man in the world, and then that's it. Hush, hush.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something weird about that for sure.
Yeah, and the stories that just don't add up. You should definitely look up the SEAL who took the shot.
I'm 100% looking this up as soon as I get home.
Because there's people that literally analyze his movement on couches, specialists in his nervousness, his twitching, and
was he just a man to use as the man who killed the man?
He needed to be the face of the whole Bin Laden.
Did they pick someone 100%. Who's the best in front of the cameras maybe to do
exactly.
that?
Like the US government can cover whatever the hell they want.
That's it. I mean, like, look at what we were talking about before was this massive conspiracy to take or to put experiments on their own citizens.
Exactly,
they can do this.
They can do whatever they want.
They have done this stuff. CIA did the Bay of Pigs. They do all this crazy
JFK.
Shit. It's
that we've discussed.
Before. I know it's probably sound a bit tinfoil hatty right now, but like, I mean, the thing we talked about first happened.
Yeah, 100%. It happened and it came out. Yeah.
America was in a fucking massive war.
Like that happened. Like, remind anyone who would listen to that and go like, oh, that what you're saying is crazy here. Like, Bin Laden's dead or whatever. Remember what Dee just said in the podcast about the US government were doing and performing experiments on people to try, like, with truth serums to get people to tell the truth, injecting them with all kinds of shit. It happened. It's true. It's there.
That's something that they did. But, like, I mean, is it such a stretch to believe that SEAL Team 6 were going in there? They operate very covertly. They're not advertising what they're up to. Like, I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that they didn't go in there and shoot him. Like, because we didn't see a body, we didn't see pictures. They could have done any number of things in
100%.
40 minutes, Chris, you were saying
40 minutes
they were in there for. So, like, I don't think it's unreasonable to have doubts about that.
Yeah.
It's not clear cut. It's not something like Saddam Hussein, where we have the video, we know, we've seen, he was trialed, he was done. This is,
and I don't even have to be like a seeing is believing person. I just think there's too much here that just doesn't fit the bill.
And I mean, even if you're the person who believes, takes the American government to their word, and they went in, they shot Osama Bin Laden, they buried the body at sea, and that was it, all job done. Like, I mean, there's still so much to be skeptical
of
about for that situation.
The amount of knowledge that man would have had.
Why would you not make it your best effort to keep him alive? Why did you not take more time to plan the attack to ensure you didn't have to go in there and possibly kill him? It's a weird situation.
He could be being held in Area 51 for all we fucking know.
All right now. I think if he's anywhere,
it's all linked.
He could be in Guantanamo Bay getting fucking waterboarded every day trying to get more information out of him.
That's so weird to think that could be a possibility. He could be alive, maybe not well, but alive somewhere.
I think if he is personally, I think if he is alive, right,
they have him.
They have him, or if he's dead, then they'd have him and killed him shortly afterwards. They have him and they are getting what they can out of him, or he is in the custody of Saudis, friends in high places.
There was another report that came in just before we finish this off of a dismembered body being thrown from a helicopter shortly after this, and they brought this to the military, and they said under absolutely no circumstances would their SEALs perform at like the highest degree or quorum or whatever. This is not a decapitation of a man, doesn't matter who it is, whatever. But I have read a couple of books about SEAL teams, and especially that one, the whole lone survivor thing. And the state of some of these men's mind, like, they are going, like, that is the enemy, and they would do fucking anything to see that person obliterated and not get near US soil, to protect numero uno, like Bush, Obama, whoever. So I don't know, I wouldn't put things back.
I mean, there's another fucking instance for you. I mean, a dismembered body being thrown into the ocean. Obviously, if the US government let that get out, then that's going to cause an absolute uproar. There'd be so considering they went to all these special considerations to ensure that he was cleaned and all, and properly buried at sea. It's crazy. Like, there you go. There's already a report that goes against what the official
report says,
and it's like, you can understand that they needed to do that, and if something went wrong in the operation where they captured him, but they couldn't finish it in a clean manner, so they had to like take him out and not admit the fact that they had him. They said they killed him instead. That they will do these things.
You see, Maybe it was. They said that it was an execution to the head, a shot to the body, maybe 2, and then 1 to the head.
No,
maybe it was a case of them in the scene this person and they beat the shit out of him.
This is it. I mean,
it was so bloodied and bruised that they didn't report. Maybe that's why we're not getting pictures.
Exactly. If they had reported that, then all his followers would have seen. There's the fucking butcherous U.S. soldiers coming in.
Not to mention all are they left wing? The people who
liberals back home,
the people human rights and all that.
Democrats, Obama's own party,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if it didn't play well, if it doesn't play well for the cameras, because this is what the whole operation was.
That's it. It's a play. Yeah,
I mean, there's plenty of reason to. There's plenty of doubt there.
So amped up on it. I love this shit.
I'm actually really glad you brought that one up because that's given me a lot to question.
Good. I hope it's given everybody a lot to question. Go and look the rest of it up if you want.
That's why we do these conspiracies.
I know. It's we don't set out to answer conspiracies. We just set out to just throw our own spin on them and see.
It's interesting because you can go and look these things up. I mean, some of these are probably you're thinking that's too far fetched. I'm not buying that. But even if you're not buying it, say you don't think they definitely killed Obama, you're still going to go look that up because Chris has raised a couple of points about this dismembered body and this guy being weird in interviews. You're definitely going to want to go and see that for yourself. 100%. And I think that's why we do it. It's so much fun just to sort of become the detective.
Yeah, exactly. To conspire.
Yeah. If you think we're fucking crazy, let us know. But
100%.
I'd say most people listen to this and think that's actually I never thought about that before.
Or I didn't know these facts.
Yeah.
And people fucking the amount of shit that the government was injecting and testing on fucking these test subjects in America for it to come out as being real. Guys.
I don't think that happened a million years ago. That was up until the 1970s.
So 40 years ago. Jesus Christ.
And that was only what got eventually declassified because we don't know what they're doing today.
It is crazy.
Waterboarding, all this stuff that happens that doesn't happen, you know. It's it's there, all behind closed doors. But anyway.
I know. Another 2 good conspiracies in the bag.
I think so, Chris.
I enjoyed that very much.
I enjoyed them myself.
Let's finish this week with a little bit of...
I love the way, by the way, that you described yours as being a little lighthearted.
But it wasn't.
Absolutely not. Nothing
I felt
remotely.
that I didn't go anywhere into enough depth with... Because I found that one article and I was like, this just summarizes everything I have to say right here.
I mean, but
there's so much to conspire with.
Yeah, there is. You could spend 10 episodes talking about just that one thing. But I think it's better for us. We just like to give you the cliff notes.
Yeah, the cliff notes.
And you get to go in there and look it up yourselves.
Yeah, 100%. We're lazy, is what we're
correct. We're lazy and we're not qualified to do this any more in depth than what we do.
Although when we do get to some of the big conspiracies, that's when we'll go a bit more in depth.
I think we'll commit one episode to one
just the theory. Yeah. So I'll look forward to that. I love a good conspiracy. Let's get personal with the podcast to finish up this episode. D, what have you got up to this week?
This last week, Chris, has been quite busy actually, and not busy doing things or going places. Just working,
general hecticness.
Working, getting home, making dinner, and all this shit. Yeah. It's we're kind of back to cooking food rather than just getting cheap meals and stuff.
Are you still with Reuben's?
No, that's long gone.
Oh, is it?
No, now we're going to M&S and Asda and
getting your fresh produce
and cooking it.
Oh, well done.
And doing all that there.
Excellent.
So we only treated ourselves to a takeaway there on Thursday night.
Okay.
Got a Five Guys. Got a wee Five Guys.
Bet it tasted great.
It tasted pretty good. They put red sauce on my burger and it actually was worse.
Oh,
because I like to get mayo.
Yeah.
On my burger.
Yeah, mayo's good.
It's great.
Yeah.
Mayo and grilled onions. That's all I have.
It's enough.
But it had tomato sauce on it. It was okay.
Did you get the bacon cheese?
The what?
The bacon cheeseburger?
Oh, right, okay. I think you're talking a thing like bacon cheese.
It's bacon cheese?
No.
No, did you get the bacon cheeseburger?
No, I don't buy it.
Just the cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Did you get a milkshake?
No.
You just went to the fountain?
No, we ordered, so it was delivered.
Oh, right, okay. You see, I'm still living in the Stone Age where I gotta go get my meals.
Did I tell you I went to the one in Portadown, Craigavon?
No.
The Five Guys there?
No.
Yeah, it was good.
It's I like it a lot. Yeah. It's very clean.
Yeah.
All Five Guys are very clean.
Actually, the one in Belfast I don't think is super clean. The one in Victoria Square. It's kind of grimy, I think. I think it's because it's more busy.
Okay.
The tables get more action.
Maybe it's the how light the building is. You know, how much natural light comes in.
That's very true.
That's a very important thing.
The Craigavon one is very well lit.
Oh, very well. Yeah, it's just all glass. And that's a very nice feature. do enjoy that.
It's very, very good.
Important in a restaurant.
I'm trying to think, did I have any other tasty meals? I mean, we cooked our own like potatoes and butter. That was really
potatoes,
nice.
man.
So good.
Potatoes and butter is like one of the most simple, beautiful things in this world.
There's a reason it was the staple of the Irish diet.
100%
during the famine.
There's a reason that the famine hit so bloody hard. Yeah, you know, you can't have potatoes and butter. What's it all been about?
But aside from that, it was all sort of standard enough fare, Chris.
Good.
I think I'll probably be forgetting about something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's what you need, like, you know. But yeah, happy enough. I got internet into our new house.
Nice.
Fiber optic.
Oh.
Virgin Media, right?
Jesus Christ. You don't know yourself.
Christopher, as I keep saying to Laura's like, coming from where we come from, where you're lucky to get half of a megabit. Yeah. Literally 0.5 megabytes per second, folks, right? Sitting at your computer running a speed test and seeing 100 on the screen.
I know.
Is a difficult thing to understand.
Jesus, blow the chucks off there and then.
Me, lad. Whereas like Laura was downloading a game, it was like 6 gigabyte left. And I was like, 6 gigabyte, right? Yeah. Literally, no joke. Where we are right now, 6 gigabyte, probably 2.5 days ish to download that. Laura's computer popped up saying 7 minutes. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh my god, dude.
But crazy, hi Chris.
Oh fuck, that's
I'm just gonna be downloading things for the fun of it.
Why not? Now that you can, because worst case scenario, the internet all goes tits up. You should have everything stored.
I have like 11 hard drives, completely full,
lad,
to the brim.
So good.
Nothing but porn.
Nothing but cats.
It's all dog memes, Chris, and gifs. Aside from that, I tell you what I've done. Continuing to watch Lost.
Oh, well done.
Thoroughly enjoying it.
Where are we? Tell me where we
are.
For anybody that knows Lost, you know, you'll enjoy this. Anybody that doesn't, go watch it.
We just did, I think. See, we had a bit of a hiccup. We got Michael's episode, and I kind of had a bit of a moment.
Yeah.
I struggle with his.
It happens,
but then that's followed up right up by Sawyer's, which is awesome. And then the disc ended, and I was like, I could be bothered up and changing the disc, so I didn't. So that's where we are. I think it was
you should be streaming that.
I know.
With the fucking speeds you have, you shouldn't have to change disc. You should just be fucking
I didn't buy the DVDs.
True.
For no reason. True. And also started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Highly recommended.
Yeah.
Like, I was 20 minutes in, and I was like, this show is great.
Really?
Straight away.
What length the episodes? 40 minutes?
20 minutes each.
Oh, 20 minutes, okay.
But the first one's like a 40-minute spectacular. Okay. It's essentially, Chris, if I had watched this when I was younger, it's 100% a cartoon. That's what it is. It's a cartoon. Most people our age would describe it as an anime. So there's less criticism on it whenever they watch and enjoy it.
Yeah, okay.
But anime or cartoon, this thing is great.
Okay.
I and if you like Pokemon, I kept reminding myself of how whenever I watched Pokemon for the first time, that's how I felt.
Just the feeling.
I enjoy these characters. I enjoy this story, and like, it's like there's a film about this that was made by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh yes,
and
yes,
that's awful.
Yeah,
it's horrific.
There was also a game that came out alongside the film that you can like.
Oh no, the game was it was based on the anime.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But did it not come out at the same time as the movie or something?
No, I don't know. Actually, when it came out,
I just remember that it was like one of these ones that you could easily get 1,000 G.
You could get 1,000 gamer score, fully all the achievements in the game in like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The only way I know of that game.
But here it's just very, very good. And like you're watching thinking, if this was live action, like action, what I'm seeing right now, it would be so cool. But the fact that it's anime, you don't care. It's just like you're watching this go, that's class. Excellent show, highly recommended, Chris. I know I've recommended a couple of shows to you lately.
You have, yeah.
We have been blazing through these shows.
Nice. I'm not surprised with internet like that.
Well, I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Aside from that, Chris, I've been playing a few games, dabbling. Finally got into Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Wetting your beak. Ooh.
Finally.
Well,
it's good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
I mean, the story, I've never really cared about the story in these new games.
No.
It's
exploration and puzzles.
That's what I'm all about.
The tombs.
Fucking love the tombs.
Yeah.
And I just love the way they look. And I love like just walking into a massive big area and being like, I can't wait to
work this
how
out.
to get up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Love doing shit like that there.
Okay.
I like the options they give you in this game.
Okay.
Like the difficulties are like, it used to be like, okay, easy, hard, whatever, survivalist, 2 meter, blah blah blah. In this, it's like you can choose like, do you want the hints? Do you want survival vision?
Oh, so you can literally, it's very adaptable.
You can ask, you can tell whether or not Lara should give you hints for the puzzles and all this here. So I switched all the puzzle hints off, but I left all the combat and stuff as normal.
Yeah.
And that works for me because now I get like, not too challenging gameplay, but whenever I get into like having to work things out.
Puzzle, yeah. I enjoy that. That sounds very much like old school Tomb Raider.
Yeah. I'm actually engaged with it. Like, and you can even switch off, like there's, do you know the way like they kind of like highlight climbable things?
Yeah.
Like with little white marks.
Little white, you can strip.
You can take those off, which is really cool.
Fuck, does that make it like really hard?
Yeah, so you know it's like old school Tomb Raider. You don't know.
It's like, can I climb that? You have to go up and actually try.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
But you know, aside from that, it's basically the same as the previous games. So far, it feels like I've done less shooting, which I'm glad about.
Yeah, I would be glad of that too.
And there's a really good bit that I just did where you play as young Lara, like back when she's like really young, when her dad's still alive.
Right.
And I actually was kind of at the start going, this is stupid, but by the end of it, I was like, I fucking thoroughly enjoyed that.
Right. Okay. Wow.
And alongside that, finally got back to playing the Division 2, which we got to, I think, level 27 out of 30 before we had to stop and move house. But now we're all back and the internet's back.
Yeah.
Gonna play through that. It's a strange game. It's like there's a story there. Yeah. And I don't give a damn about it. Yeah. But every individual mission I'm doing, I find there's always a point where I go, this is really cool. This last mission you're exploring like a downed plane. And there's a couple of points where you're just like, I'm standing on the wing of like Air Force One. Wow. Like one of those massive.
You don't care about the overarching story, but that has memorable like set pieces. Is that what you mean?
No, not even set pieces. Because it's like, I'm just stood there. Right. I've just like killed a bunch of enemies. You know, it's like that. Like, you have to move on to the next area. I'm just looking around going like, this is just so cool. Nice. So like, it's like their design is really good or something. Nice. But it's good. I definitely recommend it. And Minecraft.
You play Minecraft?
I jumped into a creative world, Chris.
Fuck, I hate you so much.
And I built a tower, and then I built steps up to the top of the tower, and then I put lights in the tower, and then I'm gonna build a castle beside it. Oh, do you know what I mean? God, it's just what happens.
It's a slippery slope,
and I love it.
It's a slippery. I
got it for my phone, Chris, but I hate playing on my phone, so I uninstalled it from my phone, and I just play it on the Xbox.
Nice. Oh, it's I remember when I first did the survival world I have, the Excite Emporium, the first thing I said I was going to do was build like castle walls to keep myself safe from mobs. And I built castle walls, and then I was like, you know what would be good? If the castle walls had an underground. And then it just went apeshit.
And then there's no stopping it.
No.
That's what's so great about the game. You don't feel like you're creative, and then you build one thing and you're like, you know what would be good? Yeah. And then before you know it, you've got plans for things that are like hours and hours ahead. Yeah. You're gonna finish this and you're gonna do this.
Yeah, it's like having a backlog in a game. Does that make sense?
But they haven't told you to do anything.
Oh God, no. They haven't. They literally tell you to do nothing apart from try to survive.
Yeah. But you know you have to do this, and then you go to get these things when you've done that.
My goal this week is to play an hour of Minecraft.
That's a good goal. I think that hour will probably spiral. Yeah. To multiple hours.
Yeah, I know. I need to just find time to get back into some kind of gaming. I've done nothing.
I know. I was the same. And do you ever get that feeling where it's like, I want to play a game, but I don't want to go switch it on and set it up. Yeah. I just want, if you just put a game that's already running in my hands,
I would play it.
I'd be so content.
100%.
But then once you start, it's like, okay, now you sort of fall back into it.
That's why I bought a Switch.
I play so little of my Switch.
Yeah, I find I do the same.
I bought Cuphead, did I tell you that? Yeah. I played a good 4 hours, 5 hours of it, and now it's like, I
just don't want to go back to it.
I want to get a different game for it now.
It's weirdy because I was super excited about Smash, and my brothers and sisters were too, and we played it over Christmas. Yeah. And then we went out of Smash, and now we haven't played Smash. I
need like Super Mario Odyssey was good for the Switch. Yeah. It was great. But even I didn't feel like I wanted to play as much as I wanted to play like what New Super Mario Bros. Was for the DS. Yeah. I wanted that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
that experience, just like, oh my god.
Is that Breath of the Wild? I think if I got into it, or Skyrim, I'm seriously debating getting Skyrim for the Switch.
For the Switch,
because I've never done the full Skyrim.
I can lend you Skyrim for the Switch or Breath, either or if you want, because they're there and I don't play.
It's a dangerous thing to.
I had actually contemplated last weekend. I was like, the one I'm going to take into again was my survival play of Fallout 4.
Oh, excellent!
Another slippy slope though.
I still haven't started my survival play because I'm still trying to work my way through the DLC, and it's like
I want to and I want to commit, but I know I have to commit. You know?
Yeah.
It's so fucking hard.
Yeah, it's like I know I'm gonna have to dedicate so many hours to this. Yeah. It's like starting a TV show. Yeah. You're like,
and I had the big Vault Dweller survival guide sitting out and all, and I read through a couple of pages, and I was like, this game is so good.
Just get back into it.
So I just want the lore, you know. I just want to go discovering stuff and taking my time and read everything and pick up and just immerse myself. And then I was like, no.
Then life gets in the way.
I know. I was like, maybe I'll do that with Skyrim. No, I can't play Skyrim again.
I have already like not set aside, but I had planned last summer that this summer I was going to play the DLC for Witcher 3.
Nice.
I love that game. I finished it last summer. I was like,
summer. The DLC is supposed to be superb.
It's meant to be like a new game. Yeah. So I was like,
is that the Blood and Sand?
No, it's Blood and Wine.
Blood and Wine, sorry, yeah. I don't know.
Blood in the Sand, that's
Prince of Persia, isn't it?
No, that's, do you know what that is? Say that rapper?
50 Cent.
50 Cent,
yeah, that's
Blood
what
in
it
the
is.
Sand.
That's right.
But yeah, I wanted to play those. I don't think that'll happen now, but, you know, it's just like the backlog, Chris. It's a killer.
I think my summer project will be continuing to try to get villagers to my Minecraft base.
It'll happen someday.
So fucking hard to work out the nether. I hate the nether.
It's like one step is 8 steps above.
I know. See, I have it worked out and I have my minecarts running to it. I just can't bring myself to get all the villagers in and take them all with me.
One by one and all.
Yeah, it's so annoying. So it'll happen eventually.
Jay, what's up? What else is up with you?
Nothing. I'm playing nothing. I'm watching nothing.
Still reading?
I'm reading a lot. I'm reading a lot. What did I just finish? Just another. Spontaneous Healing actually was a book I read. It was about, this doctor wrote it about how he believes that we should be moving off standard Western medicine and going towards Eastern medicine, and he gives examples of practices and patients and all who have literally willed their body into healing and different techniques and practices to do this and stuff. Really interesting book. Just picked it up on Amazon after I got a recommendation from another book I was reading. Yeah. And I was like, I'll try this. And I just got really into it. And it was actually just really, I felt smart reading it, even though I'll probably do nothing with it. It's still a good book.
Knowledge to have.
It's a good one to have on the bookshelf that someone's like, oh, what's this? I'll be like, well, let me tell you.
You know what book you should read? One of the previous roommates had told me about this. How Not to Die.
Oh, fuck, lad. That's been in my Amazon basket for so long.
Is it like a white book with the green writing and stuff?
That's
on it?
Exactly it. Yeah. I'm desperate to read that book. Talking about all the foods and stuff you should eat. Like, yeah.
It's like how about like eating meats and stuff, and meats have like all these like bacteria.
That's it. I'm gonna buy it tonight. I can't. Now that you say that is a sign that I just need to buy that book. I have to do that. I have a couple of books I need to buy. Nothing else. I've done a couple of big runs getting ready for 2 weeks' time.
Is that Port Umna?
Yep. And that's it. That's
the plan.
Yeah, I was in Belfast yesterday. Did a bit of shopping.
Didn't call in, lad.
Didn't call in. I don't know where you live. You live in the posh side of town now.
No, I don't. I live in the north side of town.
The posh side of town.
No,
I don't know where that is.
Just no.
No. Well, close enough. You live close to Cave Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You give me a shout. And I'll come meet you.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that next time.
Where were you shopping?
I was in HMV. I wanted to go to HMV.
You were HMV on Friday?
No, yesterday.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
I was in HMV on Friday.
Were you?
Yeah.
We were in the same store over 2 days.
I walked in looking for keyboards and I walked out and walked into the game.
Yeah.
And I walked out again. And I went back to work. Because I'm supposed to do that on a Friday. Fuck's sakes.
I went in knowing that I had just been paid and I had no outgoings on my bills this week, so I was like, I'll take a look.
That's a nice feeling.
I didn't buy anything.
That's a smart idea.
I stopped myself because I was literally about to go fucking nuts. I was like, there was like Avengers first phase, second phase, third phase, part 1,
shit.
all there. I could have got the whole thing for like 100 and something quid.
No, it's a good decision not to do that.
I said I was going to wait and just buy the whole lot together, and then I was after the rest of Rick and Morty, and then I seen Fallout glasses and mugs, and I was like, well, there's a perfect way to get back into Fallout. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get some pops, and then I was like, no, I'll go up and get they have like such a collection of like movies on 4K.
Upstairs?
Yeah,
I've never been up there. I'm scared. I feel like if I go up there, I'm going to get...
It's like a wall of grey and black boxes hit you, and it's beautiful. And it's all like the old movies that we love that have been redone.
Remastered. I'm going to go up there then.
Look at the Stand By Me, Rocky, Rambo,
Awesome.
all Spider-Man, original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I had it in my hand. I was like, I just love this movie. Why not get it in Ultra HD 4K?
Just go home and watch it and love it.
Yeah, 2 for 35, and I was like, or 2 for 30, sorry, or 5 Blu-rays for 25, and I was like,
5 Blu-rays for 25 is
yeah,
decent.
they still had that deal going. And that's how I got last time. I got a load of good movies.
I'm going to spend 50 quid. I'm going to get 10 Blu-rays.
Yeah, so good. Good. They do such good deals. I love the smells and the sounds and just movies everywhere. I was just in my element. Bought nothing. Bought absolutely nothing.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
Went to Eason's and bought my sister some books.
That's a sensible thing to do, Chris. Yeah. That is the sensible decision.
Bought her...
what do you get the Eason's in there?
I love that Eason's.
You go downstairs and all to like all the...
Yeah. I could spend so much fucking time looking at books.
Never read them either.
No, never read them. Yeah. I bought her... She reads like this like classic collection, and I was like, these books are going to be really dear. Turned out they were like $2.50 each. It's like, you know, like Jane Eyre and Shakespeare and all that.
Yeah.
But I bought her The Wonderful Wizard of Oz and The Adventures of Mark Twain and Huckleberry Finn.
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark
Twain. What'd I say?
The Adventures of Mark Twain and Huckleberry Finn.
By Huckleberry Finn, yeah. It's like Stephen King, the fictional writer. No, the real writer of fiction.
Jesus.
That's what I did. Oh, fuck, yeah, that's what I did.
Very good.
But no, I've done nothing else today. I've been so fucking lazy. Work's just...
No, yeah.
Grueling, and then I wanted to get to the cinema today to see. Do you go to cinema?
Oh yeah, I've seen Detective Pikachu.
Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to wait? Can you hold off?
I can hold that.
Could you hold off? Because I can see it for the next episode, and we could do a wee bit of a discussion.
For sure. We
sure
you do see it because it's like all we got left are matinees.
Is it a good? Is it a good recommendation?
It's. I mean, if you enjoy Pokemon, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But make sure you get there quick because I think it's on its way out.
I seen it actually in the Odeon, walked by the Odeon in Belfast, and I was like, it's there. And they had loads of shows, and I was like, okay, I gotta see this.
Yeah,
I didn't.
For sure.
But yeah, I got so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a bit of exciting news to tell you after this about something that could help the podcast. I've been in touch with a few people during the week.
Gasp.
Yeah, got to take the podcast to the next level.
Is this Sinker's magnificent return?
No, actually. I should contact Sinker.
We're gonna get him back soon.
Fuck yeah, I should get Sinker back.
Sinker,
come on back.
Come on back.
Yeah, right. I'll do that. But this is something else.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you. Do you have anything else?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to what was episode 78 of the Empty Promise podcast. Remember, you can find this podcast and all previous podcasts over on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, any podcast hosting service. You will find us there. Just search for Empty Promise podcast. You will find the video version where you can see me and Dee sitting at a table for the duration of the podcast.
We do not move. You can be thankful.
Yeah, it's not actually us doing the podcast. It's just the two of us sitting at a table for the duration of a podcast.
We sit for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we record the podcast.
We record the podcast.
Right afterwards. God, I'm tired.
Yeah, same. Thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you all next week. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Goodbye and God bless.
Bye-bye.
So good.
Fuck podcast. It is 9:15.
Is it? Fuck.